Here's Monty Walker and Brandon Helms.
A new chapter in McKinney football history is set to be written. McKinney Boyd one day will be a powerhouse, but tonight, everything will be a first. It's the first ever game for the McKinney Boyd Broncos, and the Class 3A Prosper Eagles have landed in Ron Poe Stadium. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy down on the sideline. John has a first-hand look at the brand-new McKinney Boyd Broncos, and they're actually warming up right now. John, why don't you give a description of uniforms and everything else?
Yes, the McKinney Boyd Broncos home uniforms are dark blue on top with a double stripe on the shoulders. The pants are a light gray with a red and gray stripe down both sides. They have the solid white socks only about halfway up their calves. The helmets are dark blue with a maroon M with the words Boyd across them. You got a brand new team here, McKinney Boyd, a newly renovated Ron Poe Stadium, and the whole new season you got freshness in the air. We have a cool, cloudy, a little bit overcast night tonight with no wind at all. Look for this to be a great game. Back up to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, John Leidy, down on the sidelines. And if you take a look at the McKinney Boyd Broncos, initially you take away those stripes over the shoulders, and they look similar to the New York Giants with those gray pants and the blue helmet with the stripe on the helmet. They look very similar to that. Brandon, welcome you to the booth, first of all, but this is going to be one electric night in McKinney, as the fan support for Boyd has just been tremendous.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What makes it electric for the game kind of makes the pregame show a little bumpy, because this is the point. Okay, here's what this team does. Here's what this team does. We have no idea. We have never seen the team in a field of play before. We can tell you about Prosper a little bit, but when it comes down to Boyd, we can tell you what sets they're going to line up in offense and defensively, who their stars are going to be. Beyond that, we're going to be going for the ride just like everyone else is.
Well, this is the first time Prosper has ever faced a McKinney ISD school, so it's new in that aspect as well. What isn't so new is the head coach Don Drake for McKinney Boyd. He came over as the offensive coordinator from McKinney North, and Boyd will actually run the same type of offense that North did last year, and they want to do the same type of things. As you'll hear later in the coaches show, they just have different players to do it with.
That seems to be something that the McKinney ISD likes to do, because if you'll remember, North's got their coach when they picked him up from the McKinney ISD system, and now from the McKinney original high school, and now Boyd has done the same thing to North. It seems to be they recruit from within, and you can't argue with the results.
No, you can't do it. Todd McVeigh was even brought along by Rusty Dowling in years past for the McKinney Lions. But tonight, it's not about the Lions. It's not about McKinney North. It's all about brand new McKinney Boyd. And momentarily, we've got about 27 minutes until kickoff, and we'll let that soak in. We're going to take a quick timeout. Be back in a moment with more McKinney Boyd football on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy. It is the first ever game for McKinney Boyd, and what an electric atmosphere at Ron Poe Stadium right now. The Prosper Eagles are making their way back out onto the field. They came out earlier for their stretching and exercising, but they're coming back out on the field now. And I'm telling you what, this is going to be one of those for the ages. You always think, we talk about McKinney High, and they are sitting right now at 498 career wins. But it all started with one back in September of 1920 for the UIL anyway. And you talk about McKinney North. They're a powerhouse now. They're pretty much kicking everybody that comes in their way. But it all started back in September of 2002 against Princeton when they got their first win. And obviously McKinney Boyd looking to do that tonight over Prosper.
Yeah, and it's a similar type opponent. You got the 3A school and Prosper coming in, whereas North did the same thing. And of course, Drake has been with McKinney North since that program was founded. So he's got a good template to follow to figure out what worked here. We saw him make a playoff appearance last year, and in a district now where there's 3 McKinney teams, and I believe in the District 4A now 4 teams make the playoffs. I think they did that for 5 and 4A. It may just be 5A, but still, the fact is you could have at some point 3 McKinney teams going to the playoffs because all these teams have had success, but it all comes back down to this one.
Well, we were talking about a little tent that's in the end of the end zone on the north side, and it really is a tent. It's a camping tent, and we were wondering if that was going to be Prosper's run-through. Kind of jokingly, half-hearted mentioned that during the break. But no, they do actually set up their little pup tent, and it's just a little bit bigger than that one down there, isn't it?
You can at least stand up in this one.
Of course, they are 3A. They just came up from Class 2A. And last year, as a matter of fact, the Prosper Eagles were a very good football team. They are under the new direction of Kent Scott, the new head coach. But last year, Prosper was 10-3 in Class 2A in the District 13 2A, 4-1 in district. And the playoff appearance last year in 2005, Class 2A Division II regional semifinals, actually, and they returned 5 offense and 5 defensive starters. We are, if you're wondering why we're the little stuttering going on there, they were handing me the officials' names, and they are out of the Dallas chapter. Brent Baker will be the referee, and Van Boatwright and Dennis Cassett will run the change. Actually, Smith Holder is the referee. The umpire, Fatty Tillman. Head linesman Mark Paxton, and the line judge Tim Adams, and the back judge Tim Thompson. The coin toss will be coming up pretty soon as the cheerleaders just now are exiting the field doing their first cheer of the season for McKinney Boyd. And, you know, everything's new. It's not just the football team. The volleyball team already has a trophy under their belt, and it's just a fun atmosphere because everything is brand new and it's a fresh start here in McKinney.
And that's exactly what you get when that new year comes, or that new school comes. And if you go to the perspective of these kids, these guys are trying to make the tradition, you know, that McKinney definitely has. North is on their way to establishing a tradition, and this is exactly what these kids have an opportunity to do now. You talked about volleyball. You know, I mean, you're talking about new sports across the board who have a chance to come up, you know, and begin this tradition. You're never going to have another first.
The drill team is on the field, and they are already in the victory line. Now, here's the thing about a new school as well. We talked about how small Prosper's little run-through was, and probably kicked them a little bit about the tent that's in the other side, and kind of half-heartedly joking about that. However, McKinney Boyd doesn't even have one yet. I know one's on order, but they do not have a run-through, and not even a sign, a traditional sign that you would run through. Remember about 10, 15 years ago when the cheerleaders would make those big run-through signs. I haven't seen any sign of that at this point. It looks like they're just going to run through the old victory line, maybe like in the 1960s or 70s.
Yeah, right past the drill team is starting at the goal line, have gone out to the 25, and they've been waving their pom-poms for, I don't know, roughly 15 minutes, waiting for the team to come out. The starting lineups are being introduced via PA to the crowd here at Ron Post Stadium. Officials are ready to go, but we still have no Boyd players on the field.
Well, the officials are making their way out on the field, and while they're doing that, let's go ahead and talk about Germain Designs. We want to thank them. They're up in Denison for providing our broadcast uniforms, and they have every year since I think 1999, maybe 2000, around that time. Germain Designs in Denison, they do all custom embroidered work, so if you're needing a logo, or maybe you're needing a McKinney Boyd logo, give Germain Designs a call at 903-465-5590. And the captains have made their way out on the field. No sign of Boyd yet. We were talking about the uniforms and how they're similar to the New York Giants with the gray type pants and the dark blue jerseys, the white numerals, and the dark blue helmets with the red stripe. And I believe they're making their way out. No, I haven't seen them still. I thought they were just about to come on the track.
No, those are the coaches. Some of the positional coaches are out by the track just watching.
Well, can you imagine what Don Drake is telling them right now? You know, this is the first time that a McKinney Boyd Bronco football team will ever walk out of the gate for a football game. And it must be incredible to be in that locker room right now.
Yeah.
John Leidy is down on the field, and we'll talk with him. John, you're down, and you're right there with some of the cheerleaders and drill team. What is the atmosphere down there right now?
The atmosphere down here is very exciting. The pregame warm-up for the Broncos was very, very loud. I've never heard a pregame warm-up be that loud.
And you were with McKinney North for a while.
Yes, I was with McKinney North. I actually was on the very first varsity team ever for the first 2003 through 2004. I've been in this locker room where the Broncos are going through their pep right now. I've been there for McKinney North. So it's very, very nerve-wracking down here.
What do you think is going on right now inside that locker room?
Coach Drake is just trying to bottle up all those emotions, all those butterflies, and have them bring them out here on the field and take their frustration out on Prosper. Guys, we're going to go ahead and send it back up to you.
All right. Brandon?
Well, actually, I have a question for you, John. As a player, what goes through your mind when you're, since you've been there before, when you're a first-time school about to play your first game?
Wow. My first game ever was against Princeton back in 2002. It was bottled up emotions. It's just butterflies. You don't know what to expect. New team, new teammates. A lot of these players have come over from McKinney and McKinney North. So we're going to send it back up to you as the Broncos are taking the field right now.
All right, thanks a lot, John. They are making their way out on the field for the first time. Again, no curtain to run through. No big flashy helmet, no big bulldog head like North has, but just a simple, plain victory line. And maybe that's the kind of team this is going to be, just one that simply does their business. And I think Don Drake would love that if that's the case in 2006.
Yeah, these are a lot of kids who have familiar names too. You harken back to guys like Jeff Fuller who made the direct jump as with A.J. Jones. But there's a lot of siblings from McKinney and McKinney North former players on this one.
You'll recognize some names like Eubanks, Weston Eubanks, the safety and slot receiver for Boyd. His brother last year, you'll remember if you're a McKinney ISD football fan, Cameron Eubanks was a slot receiver for McKinney North and played a little cornerback as well. And ladies and gentlemen, here come your Boyd Broncos.
We need a band.
For the first time ever, the Boyd Broncos have entered the field. And you can hear that familiar, that fight song. Is that familiar to you? Michigan.
Just about to say that. Thought you were leading into it, and then I guess you're asking me. I'm not smart.
The captains are making their way out on the field, getting ready for the coin toss, and we'll have the coin toss for you. John Leidy is down on the field. The captains lining up is Jeff Fuller on the far left side, standing along with Reese Redmond. Also a captain, Jamel Minor, and Rusty Walton. Making their way out for Prosper will be Tyler Toney, the quarterback, Austin Anders, also Drew Griffin, the linebacker, and Marty Scott. We'll kick it down with John Leidy.
This man make a line right down behind him. Introduce yourself and go straight down the line. There you go. There you go. Very good. Okay, gentlemen, we're going to reenact what we flipped for the coaches about 6:45 this even. You called heads to win the toss. So you won the toss, and you elected to defer to the second half. So stand right there for a second.
He's talking to Jeff Fuller. McKinney Boyd has won the toss and is elected to defer.
Then you elected to defend the scoreboard. Turn your back shoulder to shoulder to the scoreboard, please. Just flip around. Step off a few steps. There you go. Line up. Back up to that line. Back up to that line.
Explaining to the captains how to do this. Remember, they are not seniors. These are underclassmen for the first time ever in this position. McKinney Boyd has lined up with their backs to the south end zone. Prosper has their backs to the north end zone, so that means Prosper will have the ball first. McKinney Boyd will be kicking off, and Prosper will be moving right to left on the radio dial. And I tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, and I know you have been. During a couple of breaks of the last week's game, you were making mention of this one being the first one ever. I know John's excited down there on the sideline. In fact, his headset keeps coming off. He's shaking his head so much. He's so excited. Look at the drill team. They're still standing out there on the field, even though the players have already run through them. They don't want to leave. There's a lot of excitement here when you got the first ever game going on. And, you look over at the Princeton sideline, it's the beginning of the new season, so there's that excitement, but there's just a lot of excitement in my mind right now.
A lot of excitement on the far sideline as well as the Prosper Eagles run through their green run-through, as the Prosper Eagles are green and white. Green pants, white jerseys, green numerals, and green helmets. It's a beautiful evening, a beautiful night for football, and look at that beautiful sunset. If you're home listening to the game, take a look out your window. It is absolutely gorgeous. We're going to take a quick break, be back in a moment with the first ever kickoff in Boyd High School history on 97.5 KLAK. And that is your national anthem played by the brand new Boyd Bronco Band, the Boyd High School Bronco Band. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here at Ron Post Stadium for the first ever Boyd Bronco football game, as it'll be kicking off here in just about a minute and a half or so. And John Leidy down on the sidelines. And once again, he is surrounded by all of the players. So go ahead and talk to us. What's it like down there now that the players have arrived?
It's very silent, actually, surprisingly. Everybody's focusing on what their task is going to be when they go out on the field right now. We're fixing to have a kickoff, and they're fixing to take the field. Let's send it back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. And he is right. The kickoff is about to happen for Boyd. Now, kicking off for Boyd will be Travis Yarborough, the place kicker, and he will wear the number 7. So Yarborough will be the man in history for the first person to ever touch a football in action in Boyd history. And there's going to be a lot of those tonight. The first carry, first pass, first, you name it.
Now, will it be the first to touch it in action? Because action doesn't start till he touches it. So does that count? The clock doesn't start running until it's...
Well, that's actually true. There may be some technical issues there.
I might have you on a technicality, but he will be the first one to touch it in an official game situation.
There you go.
How's that one?
We do want to remind you that you can look up the Boyd roster online at 975klak.com. Also, in weeks to come, you'll be able to hear the podcast of this game and others on 975klak.com.
Well, how's that for changing times? Even 2 years ago, it was radio or nothing.
And they have great coverage here in McKinney of all sports. Speaking of McKinneysports.net, at any time, as a matter of fact, you can look up right now, and they're about to get ready to put the scoreboard up on McKinneysports.net. You can, if you're not able to make it to the game, you can at least look on the scoreboard and see what's going on at McKinneysports.net. Here's the first kickoff, and they're going to fake the onside. Travis Yarborough backs up, and we are just about underway for the first ever time in McKinney Boyd history.
Well, North did that a lot too last year. Break the huddle, run straight to the ball, then get back in stance. So it's something Drake's brought over.
And here comes the Boyd Broncos. The kick is a squibber right down the middle. It's going to be touched by a Prosper Eagle and finally downed at the 34-yard line by Prosper. So it could have been, and there is a flag down, so hold everything.
Probably an onside kick, or rather offsides on the Boyd Broncos.
It seems like no one sees it, as everyone is staying right around the 34-yard line.
Most likely to be declined.
And that's probably not the way Don Drake envisioned starting this football game, as the very first flag on the first play.
You got to realize, too, when the first game of the season is played, even for established clubs, it's likely to be one of the sloppiest of the year. Now, you couple that with guys who've never played together as a cohesive unit before because they've been splintered off into two separate groups, and now some of them who would have been at McKinney or were now playing with guys who would have been at Boyd. So there's a lot of that cohesiveness that's not there yet.
First and 10 for Prosper at their own 34, shotgun formation. And this is going to be a handoff up the middle and nowhere to go as the Boyd Broncos defense was right there to make the stop. On the carry was the fullback, Drew Griffin.
Not a guy you're going to hear a lot of, Drew Griffin. The offense is going to be featured in the running game to Fuller Bates. And it's a good start for the Boyd defense. a rushing attempt up the middle that nets the only 1 yard.
That'll move the ball up to the 40-yard line. We'll give you the McKinney Boyd Broncos defense right after this play. Shotgun formation, handoff once again right up the middle. And the Broncos finally bring him down after about a 3-yard gain on the stop for the Broncos is Justin Cordova. And here is your McKinney Boyd Bronco defense. 3rd down and 6, 10:44 left to go in the first quarter, just underway. Prosper is going to roll around right side. That's Taylor wanting to throw the ball. Has his man and is caught for a first down on the catch for Prosper. Taylor Thompson as Tyler Toney, the quarterback, rolled out to the right side and hit his man on that outside curl. We thought that might happen a lot. It seems like the scouting report said that Thompson loves to run that outside curl, and he did just right then for the first down.
A simple curl route on a rollout from the quarterback. Nice little timing play, but the secondary for the Broncos has to play a little tighter than that.
1st and 10 for Prosper at the McKinney Boyd 43-yard line. A man in motion. And Tyler Toney, the quarterback, gets it, runs the option left side, keeps it 40. Look out, 35, and that's where he's going to stop. Brought down by McKinney Boyd's. And that is Nate Hill, the linebacker, the junior linebacker. Remember, McKinney Boyd has no seniors. As a matter of fact, their entire secondary are all sophomores. 9:56 left to go in the first quarter clock. No score at Ron Post Stadium. McKinney Boyd and Prosper.
Last play, a simple option. The cornerback did the right thing there. That's Chris Thornton taking the pitch man. Problem is on the defensive line, Robert Sparks got caught up, and he needs to get off his block to challenge the quarterback.
Everybody in tight, 2nd down and 3. This is going to be a handoff once again to the fullback, Drew Griffin, not lining up at fullback but dotting the I in the I formation. He's going to be close to the first down. Let's check down with John Leidy. John, is he going to be close on that first down?
It's going to be very close. We're about a half a yard short, but it's going to be 3rd down and about a half a yard. Back up, y'all.
All right, thanks, John. It will be 3rd down, and they're going to place the ball right at the 34-yard line.
Nice job by the linebacker there, Jamel Minor, coming up, shaking his block and stuffing Griffin before he got to the first down marker. Now it's an all-important 3rd and 1.
2 receivers to the right side. Man goes in motion, comes across, handoff up the middle, and up, option out to the right side. That's going to be Bates. Cuts it up inside. He has a little running room, and for sure the first down inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. 1st and 10 once again for Prosper. 10-yard gain for the running back there, Fuller Bates, a 5'10", 170-pound senior for Prosper.
That's one thing Prosper likes to do is take the ball out wide. We've seen it a couple times now. They've ran the option to the left side. They just ran the option to the right, and they've also run the rollout pass to the right.
Tyler Toney, the quarterback for Prosper, brings his team out with 3 receivers to his left side, 1 receiver to the right, 1 man in the backfield. Going to hand off to him. And nope, Toney's going to keep it once again. Running out right side near that far sideline. Ball is on the turf. McKinney Boyd says they have it, and they do. The first ever recovered fumble for McKinney Boyd.
And that was a play made in the secondary there. Another fumble, or rather I shouldn't say another fumble, a fumble simply on a rollout. They went outside of tackle again, but the secondary, I believe that was the cornerback Parker Belinius on the right side, who simply planted his helmet where the ball was as he was tackling, forcing Toney to lose possession of the ball as he's getting slammed to the ground.
It'll be 1st and 10 for McKinney Boyd as they bring their offense out on the field, and this will be a familiar offense if you're familiar with McKinney North, as they run basically the same formation, bringing the offensive coordinator from North over here in Don Drake. Jeff Fuller split out wide right. Quarterback will be Phillip Sears, standing in shotgun formation, 1 man to his right. Shotgun, handoff up the middle, A.J. Jones, busting through tackles, makes his way up to the 20-yard line, a gain of about 3. We'll give you your McKinney Boyd offensive starters right after this play. But a nice way to open the offensive series for Boyd with a 3-yard gain there.
A simple run up the middle between left guard and center, blocked very nicely, forcing the linebackers to make the play, but they made the play a couple of yards off the line of scrimmage, and that's a good sign for the running game.
Sears stands in shotgun formation, has A.J. Jones moved from his left to his right, wants to pass, looking out in the flats, has a man caught, and that's Eubanks out to the 25-yard line. a gain of about 4. Weston Eubanks makes the catch, and that will be the first reception in Boyd history.
A simple flare pattern. When Eubanks caught it, he had 2 white jerseys in his face. He made a nifty little move to the inside. Nothing you're going to see on a highlight reel, just enough to get a couple extra yards. 4-yard pass there, coupled with the officially a 4-yard run on the play before. It's a good start to the first offensive series in Boyd history.
2 receivers to the left side on 3rd down. A.J. Jones up the middle, fighting his way towards that marker, and I don't believe he's going to get it. John Leidy right down there. Johnny on the spot, tell us, did A.J. Jones pick up that first down?
Guys, I think it's going to be about a foot short. If he got a – back up to y'all.
All right. I think John is right. It's going to be a little bit short. Officials are going to call timeout and come out and measure this one, but obviously it'll be punt time if he doesn't come out, if he comes up a little short.
Yeah, the first 2 plays, or rather the first 2 rushing attempts have gone to A.J. Jones for 3 plays total. You might think this would be a wide open offense, but if you want to look back at what North does, they also have to have a pretty good running game. You look at what they did last year.
Chase Barrett and Shannon Woods before that, J.R. Housing.
With Eric Erbel was able to throw for a lot, but he set up through the running game. So it's going to be important if Boyd wants to have success, and they are about a foot short. If Boyd wants to have success like North did, they're going to need A.J. Jones.
Well, going back to punt for McKinney North will be Miller Burns, and Burns will stand at his own 15-yard line. Prosper's returner will stand at the 40. Burns' punt is going to be very high, wobbly, maybe a little bit short, but it's going to be returnable by Bates, who crosses the 40 up to the 45, near midfield, crosses midfield into Boyd territory, and going to be finally marked down at the 45-yard line, just in Boyd territory. 6:32 left to go first quarter. No score here at Ron Post Stadium. McKinney Boyd and Prosper.
36-yard punt there. Got the ball down to the 36, but unfortunately for Boyd, Burns was not too high in the hang time, and that allowed Prosper to return the ball past midfield. So the first punt's on the books.
Prosper will take over, and we failed to give you the offensive starters for Boyd, and we'll do that during their next series as Prosper's offense comes back out on the field. Tony sends a man in motion, moving right to left, and he will hand off to Bates up the middle, and going nowhere is Bates, as on first down once again, McKinney Boyd looks pretty tough.
A simple give up the middle again. We're seeing that a couple times from both sides, but this time they were able to, Boyd was, just stop it for a minimal gain. They played pretty well inside the tackles again in just a limited action early.
A 1-yard gain officially. It'll be 2nd down and 9. 6:04 left to go in the first quarter clock. Again, Prosper moving right to left. We'll send 2 receivers out to the far side, 1 to the near. Tony, the quarterback, has Bates standing to his right and just behind him. He's going to pitch it to him running far side. Has the 45, and he is quick. 40, 35, 30, 25, trying to break a tackle and can't do it, as making the stop over at the 20-yard line is the cornerback,
Chris Garrison.
And actually, Garrison playing that outside safety position. But a nice run there by Bates, and I'm telling you, he hits the hole pretty quick.
Yeah, 26-yard gain there, and on the simple pitch out that had the makings of a pass early. It almost looked like a trick play. They were setting it up, but Bates was able just to charge to that sideline pretty quick and had decent blocking from his receivers there on the outside.
Prosper in good position here. 1st and 10 at the Boyd 20. 5:26 left to go. Here's going to be a handoff up the middle, running right tackle, actually. The fullback, once again, that's Drew Griffin. And Griffin gains about 5 yards on first down.
I thought he'd fumbled there for a minute, and I thought I saw one of the referees throw out the little white card to mark where he put the ball on the ground. Yeah, see, there it is. So he might have fumbled. It looks like, though, if he did, Prosper pounced on it because the offense is still on the field.
A virtuous hop for Prosper, as it'll be a gain of 6 in the books. 4:52 left to go in the first quarter.
First quarter.
First quarter, and no score yet. Man comes out wide for Prosper. That'll be Corey Miller. And Tony, the quarterback, looks over right side, wants to throw it up for his big wide receiver, and he just overshoots him. And that's a chore because Tyler Thompson, the outside wide receiver, is 6'5", 230 pounds, and a junior. He's listed as a tight end, but they split him out wide on occasion, and he's a big guy.
I don't think I've seen him go to a tight end set yet. Prosper running the spread formation. I think there was a little timing off on that route. I think Tony was expecting Thompson to go a yard or two further because he threw it. By the time Thompson had already turned around, that's what I think the timing was off because he looked like he wanted to throw further.
Thompson and Miller split out wide once again. Bates is in the slot. Looked like somebody moved early. This is the option, and there is a flag down right at the line of scrimmage as someone on the Prosper line of scrimmage moved just a little bit early. And that's crucial because it was third down. So we'll see what McKinney Boyd elects to do. And it'll be a false start. We'll redo the down. Instead of 3rd and 4, it'll be 3rd and 9.
Boyd about to go on their first blitz in school history. But they saw that the blitz was coming, did Prosper, and it caused a couple of them to move a little bit early. And that's what happens sometimes when in the offensive line, you'll do that. And trying to, when you see the blitz, you get a little bit antsy.
3rd down and 9 after the penalty. 4 minutes and 27 seconds left to go in the first quarter. No score at Ron Post Stadium. McKinney Boyd and Prosper. 3 receivers to the left side. Tony, the quarterback, shotgun formation, rolls this side to the near side. Still rolling, looking for somebody. Now he's going to tuck it and run. Has the 15. Runs back to the middle of the field. Crosses the 11 and down right at the 10-yard line. Very close to the first down. John Leidy, once again, John's getting a lot of these looks here, and this one's going to be real close. This is probably the closest one so far, John.
Yes, the referees are actually already signaling first down with no measurement. Back up to y'all.
All right, and you are correct. That one was very close, but right at the 10-yard line. Tony just made the first down. It'll be 1st and goal from, I'm talking about the center of the stripe. No chance for a first down. It is 1st and 10 from the line.
It's the furthest 1st and goal that you can get. On that last play, it was set up successfully because it was a rollout. There were still some linemen in the interior who were able to set up blocks.
This is going to be a handoff up the middle once again. That's the fullback. And for Prosper, Drew Griffin scores. And the first ever point scored in a McKinney Boyd Bronco game. And unfortunately, it's for the Prosper Eagles as Drew Griffin strolls in from 10 yards out. 5'10", 205-pound senior fullback just rumbles his way into the end zone.
Almost a mirror image of North. Last year, and even in prior years, their defense wasn't the greatest. Last year, the defense was better, but they got to where they were because of the offense. And this year, it looks like a mirror image where the offense has looked, in 3 plays, they looked as good as you can get for getting only 9 yards.
Corey Miller on for the extra point. It's a low snap, and the kick is up. It's very high, but he pushed it to the right. 6-0, Prosper in the lead. 3:37 left to go in the first quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. Brandon, Prosper off to that first ever drive in McKinney Boyd history.
Yeah, it was a simple drive that started at midfield, just inside midfield on a nice little double-digit return that set up a couple of first downs on the way to Drew Griffin's 10-yard run. And as it stands right now, they had been holding him pretty well. He's up to 22 yards now on the day with that touchdown on 5 carries. But it's the quarterback, Tyler Toney, who's impressed me. He's already got 22 rushing yards and 14 yards passing on 1 and 2 attempts.
On the drive, it took 2 minutes and 55 seconds, 6 plays and 47 yards for Prosper. 3:37 left to go here in the first quarter. Here's a squib kick by Prosper. It's going to be taken by Boyd at the 18-yard line, finally resting in the hands of a Boyd up man. And that is
well, we're going to have a re-kick, so there's a flag on the field, just like Boyd's first kickoff. We have another offsides here, rather.
It was Jamel Minor who finally came up with the football. But like you say, that will not matter because they will re-kick here.
Yeah, unlike Boyd's kick, this one will be accepted. They will re-kick because Boyd would have started inside their 20. And that's never a good starting point.
Well, John, you've had you've had a chance to feel out the sidelines down there, get a chance to see what the mood is for the team. Talk about what you're seeing down there on the field.
The mood is still very positive down here. Everybody is a little quiet still, but that'll all be over after the first quarter and after the coaches get their chance to talk to them. The defense is very solid up the middle. They kind of had a letdown there on that last play, that last drive up the middle there. Brandon, back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot. 3:34 left to go in the first quarter. Monty Walker, Brandon Helms, thank you for joining us tonight.
He did say back to me, Monty.
Oh, sorry, Brandon. Take it over.
Oh, I've got nothing.
Well, here is the re-kick by Corey Miller, and it's another squibber. It's going to go right up the middle. Wesley Eubanks takes it at the 33, coming right side, now cuts it back up the middle, and finally goes down right at the 36-yard line. He had no intention of meeting Cole Draft right up the middle, as Eubanks kind of just went down on one knee.
A lot more return yards than actually he's going to get about 3 return yards on that carry, but he ran sideways for probably 8 or 9. You know, situation, just follow your blockers there, but good job on the coverage. Now you go back to the penalty. Boyd was starting up inside the 20, and now they're at the 47-yard line. So even though it's officially a 5-yard penalty, it's closer to 20 in terms of the field position loss for Prosper.
After this play, we'll give you the McKinney Boyd starting offense. Here is Sears running the option to the right side. He decides to keep it. He crosses the 40 up to the 45 and hit pretty hard at the 47-yard line. A big hit by J.L. Gomez from Prosper. The safety comes up, puts the pop on Sears, and here's your McKinney Boyd starting offense. 2:53 left to go in the first quarter. Shotgun formation. Sears, he's going to fire it down the field. The home run ball for Jeff Fuller, who has to go up for it, and that might have been intercepted, and I believe it is. It was going to be Corey Miller coming up with the interception for Prosper. That ball was really thrown really wobbly and underthrown. Somebody might have got a hand on it, I'm not sure, but Fuller tried to go up for it a la Alvin Harper in that championship game against the 49ers, but he couldn't get over the shoulder pads of Miller as Miller brought it down.
In that situation, you have to play defender. It's an underthrown ball. You know, you're not going to blame Fuller totally, but he's got to get in there and knock that ball away. And if he just simply puts a hand in the face or even tries to simply swat it down, we're looking at a 3rd and 1 for Boyd. As it is, Prosper takes over at the 27. First turnover by Boyd.
Miller comes up with the interception, and Prosper, a high snap. They're going to have to jump on it, and right there, quarterback Tony falls right on the ball at the 24-yard line. The line of scrimmage was actually the 24, so it's going to be about a 4-yard loss. I take that back. The line of scrimmage was the 27. And the ball will now rest at the 24. So call it a 3-yard loss. As Tony was in shotgun formation, the ball just almost went over his head. He had to tip it up a couple times, then it finally hit the turf, and he just fell on it.
But I thought I saw one of the Prosper linemen move, but this is a better scenario, a better outcome for Boyd. 2nd and 13 instead of 1st and 15.
Man goes in motion.
Another fumble snap.
Another fumble, you're right. And in a lot of trouble is Prosper, and I think the Broncos recovered once again.
Boy, Tony just flustered there in the pocket. The snap was bobbled. He picked it up, started his rollout to the left side. Then he put the ball on the ground, and it wasn't a hit or anything like that. I think he just bumped up against somebody that caused it to fall loose. And it looks like when Tony gets flustered a little bit, that might be your chance to strike.
Cole Knuth for Prosper comes up a little bit gimpy as he's making his way off to the sidelines, but Boyd is in great position here.
By the way, that's Tony's 2nd fumble, Monty.
Boyd will take over at Prosper's 18-yard line. Great position here for Boyd with 1st and 10. And Sears, the quarterback, has A.J. Jones standing directly behind him. Moving left to right is Boyd. A blitz comes by Prosper. A.J. Jones trying to beat it to the right side. He has a line of scrimmage, 15, 10, inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. A.J. Jones on the first significant carry of the night for Boyd.
And that's a good reason why, if they blitz in the middle, it's a good idea to go to the outside. Jones did that. He might have been tackled for maybe a 3 or 4 yard gain, but he put a nice little move and then hurdled a defender who tried to take his legs out. And that sets up now the first and goal scenario after gain of 10.
Ball at the 8-yard line. 1:25 left to go, first quarter. Boyd knocking on the door. One man wide left, two men to the right. Jeff Fuller not in the game. Sears, the quarterback, runs the option to the left side. He's going to keep it. He has the 5, and he is inside the 5 to the 2-yard line. No signal. One player, Chase Enos, was calling for the score, but apparently just shy of the end zone is Philip Sears, and they're going to spot the ball right at the 1-yard line. Under a minute now in the first quarter.
A.J. Jones showed what he could do running on the play prior. In this one, he's able to spring a key block that allows Sears to get down to the goal line. Good versatility on these last two plays from the tailback, Jones.
Minor also in the backfield along with A.J. Jones. Shotgun formation for Sears. Going to hand off Jones up the middle, struggling his way, pushing his way towards the end zone. No indication. And now it is touchdown time in Texas for the first ever time for McKinney Boyd, and it's A.J. Jones on a 1-yard touchdown run.
Simple off-tackle play to the left side. Prosper defended it well. Jones had to use third effort to get across the goal line. And now we're tied up at 6, Monty.
It's got to be a tremendous feeling for the players down on the field to get in that end zone for the very first time. Here's Travis Yarborough's kick, and it's true. And guess what? McKinney Boyd has a lead tonight, 7-6. 28 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. It's good times here for McKinney Boyd. Scoring for the first time ever in school history, A.J. Jones on a 1-yard touchdown run caps off a 3-play, 18-yard drive after the fumble by Prosper, which set up Boyd in great position, and they capitalized on it. 7-6 after the Travis Yarborough extra point, and Boyd leads in their very first game, 7-6.
And A.J. Jones has something no one will ever be able to take away from him, and that's the first ever touchdown.
Lining up Travis Yarborough on to do the kicking here. And we'll check down with John Leidy momentarily and get his recap of it. They will not onside here as they will line up for the kickoff.
I wonder what the percentage is of the times they do that they actually onsides.
Well, if they do it every time, and you think a team probably onsides 1 or 2, maybe 3 times a game, here's a squib kick right up the middle. It's going to be taken by an up man from Prosper. He might have some room, fighting his way out and finally knocked down actually from behind by a Boyd tackler. And Prosper will take over at their own 46-yard line. I
don't get it. I mean, it almost looks like it's an onside kick on steroids. You know, you only need to go 10 yards. It almost looks like they're trying for 15. I don't understand why you don't try the pooch kick, or if you're going to squib it, put a little more muscle behind it. It's setting up Boyd to play defense basically on half a football field.
Well, Prosper will come to the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10. Only 21 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. We're going to check down with John Leidy here right after this play. 2 receivers to the right side, handoff once again. That's Griffin. He is popped right at the line of scrimmage and driven backwards. Boyd showing their defense on that play. John Leidy, talk to us.
Yes, on the last offensive series, the Boyd Broncos ran the ball. The excitement and the emotions on the sideline just erupted when they got that touchdown. Now it's leading over to the defense. Defensive line is just pounding now. Brandon, back up to you.
Brandon.
Thanks, John. Monty, let's talk about the end of the first quarter there. McKinney Boyd has a 7-6 lead.
Yeah, John wants to send it to Brandon. I'm going to send it to commercial because that's the end of the first quarter. Boyd on top, 7-6. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy. 7-6, Boyd in the lead in their first ever game against Prosper, as they will now change sides, and Prosper will now be moving left to right as they have the ball 2nd down and 8.
Now, you're not going to tell me you're not going to do a cheesy comeback with running on a dream. McKinney Boyd running on a dream here in their first game, start of the second quarter, to have a 7-6 lead.
I leave all of those things to you, Brandon.
All right. I guess I'll have to be the cheese man.
2nd down and 8, shotgun for Tony. He's going to pitch it out to Bates, who has a man chasing him, but Bates is pretty fast, cuts it up to the inside near the first down marker, and now he has it as he crosses the 45 into the into, well, about the 44-yard line, in between the 44 and the 43. So it'll be a first down for Prosper.
Simple 9-yard gain made mostly by Bates' speed. A pitch to the left, and if Prosper can keep having success there, they're going to have to keep depending on their wide receiver blocking on the outside there to prevent the cornerback from coming up. But so far, they've been having some good success running outside of the tackles.
Shotgun formation, 2 men in the backfield behind Tony, the quarterback. 2 receivers to the right side. He's going to hand off up the middle. That's Griffin fighting his way for more yardage. He's going to gain about 5 yards as he crosses the 40 to the 39-yard line. It'll set up a second down and 5.
Drew Griffin getting the majority of the carries so far. He's already got 7. Tony has 5, the quarterback behind him. And he's now starting to put together some good yardage, wearing down the middle of the Boyd defense. I hate to use the word wearing down with 11 minutes left in the second quarter, but it's almost what it looks like.
Well, keep in mind that Boyd, there are no seniors out there. These are all pretty much first-time starters on varsity. Second down and 5, 10:52 left to go, second quarter, 7-6 Boyd on top. Tony's going to pitch it out. Ball's on the turf once again. McKinney Boyd may have it. They might have their third fumble.
Lamar Peoples.
And they do. Another turnover recovered by the Boyd Broncos.
You can't give credit to Tony for that one because that was made by the cornerback coming up. I think it was the cornerback. I'd like to see your replay. I think the cornerback actually went to the pitch man. Yeah, because that would have been Peoples, and that's why he was able to recover it. So it's probably one of the linebackers, maybe even the safety coming up, who made the hit, forcing Tony to have an errant pitch because he was pitching in the process of being hammered to the ground, and Peoples, a heads-up play, went around Bates there to grab the ball.
Well, McKinney Boyd will take over at their own 43-yard line. And moving right to left now. We'll send 2 receivers out far right, 1 to the left. Man stands right behind Sears, going to hand off to him. That's A.J. Jones running left tackle. He's met right at the line of scrimmage by Griffin and driven backwards. And what a great job by the linebacker Griffin coming up and making that stop. It'll be no gain. It's second down and 10.
Nothing you can do there if you're A.J. Jones, just good pursuit from the linebackers. Pardon me, you look at the scouting report for the Prosper Eagles, and the linebacking core is not supposed to be a strong point except for number 8. Of course, that's Drew Griffin, who's the fullback as well, and he really helped make that play there.
Bolina split out wide left. Jeff Fuller split out wide right. A.J. Jones in the backfield stands right behind Sears, the quarterback. Looking to the sideline, wanting the call. Waiting on the signal, now gets it. Hands toward the center. Now he's going to fake the hand to Jones, throw it out in the flat, and nothing doing there. He overshot his receiver, Robert Sparks, the tight end. The junior tight end was coming across the middle on a drag route, and Sears just simply overled him.
Not a smart pass because he threw it in the middle of the field where there's traffic. And that's always a danger where the ball can be intercepted. But luckily he overthrew him, and it was short enough that the second layer couldn't grab a hold of that one and get an interception.
Third down and 10 for Boyd at their own 43-yard line. 9:49 left to go, second quarter. Boyd on top, 7-6 over Prosper. Sears, the quarterback, drops back 3 steps, looks over to the left side, throws it out of bounds over his receiver's head. He was trying for Bolinas, but threw it about 3 yards over his head and out of bounds. It'll be punt time for Miller Burns.
Not a good third down conversion rate so far for Boyd. They're 0 of 2. And that one was a pass that was another errant pass from Sears. And this goes back to what I was talking about at the top of the broadcast, where they have no chemistry. I mean, quarterback and receivers, that's one of the most timeliest issues you have, and it's obvious that there's not a lot there.
Miller Burns has to rush the punt as a lot of rush was coming up the middle from Prosper. He gets it away, a low-line driver, and it's going to roll dead at the 26-yard line. So Prosper will take over. Turns out to be a pretty good punt. It looked pretty scary from the beginning, but the nice roll takes it on down inside Prosper territory to the 26-yard line.
41-yard kick there. You'll take that every day. And this brings us back to the Prosper offense, where Tony turned it over the series before. That's his third fumble so far here in the in the first half, although to be fair, you really can't say that was totally his fault. He was being hit as he pitched it. It was a good defense by Boyd if you have to give credit to anything, but it shows you, Prosper could be doing a lot better if they didn't have those turnovers.
Little Elm over Denton Geyer, 7-0 early on in that one. Here at 7-6 Boyd. Here's going to be a handoff up the middle. No, Tony's going to keep it once again, and he gets up to the line of scrimmage. He faked the counter to his fullback, Ryan Maddox, and he kept it and ran over right guard, but didn't get very far. Matter of fact, I think he lost a yard, and he did.
Not much going on that play. Looked like he was supposed to be the second option there. I don't know what his read was, but whatever it was, there was a lot of other pursuit there for Boyd to make the tackle.
2nd down and 11 for Prosper. And Tony, the quarterback, rolling out right side this time. Wants to throw it, fires it down the field, has a man wide open, and is caught at the 40, 35, and finally drugged down at the 30-yard line. On the catch for Prosper is going to be Austin Anders, the 5'8", 170-pound senior. And what a big play that was, going from their own 25 down to the 30 in Boyd territory.
50-yard pass reception. Well, simple breakdown in the secondary there, as for the Eagles, Austin Anders was able to get behind the secondary somehow, and the pass it looked like it almost might be out of his reach. He made a nice little stretch to grab that one. He caught his balance on a couple of steps, and that allowed the secondary to get there. But that's a 50-yard pass play that should have happened, really. Goes back to that chemistry issue.
1st and 10, movement on the line, but Tony's going to keep it and run over left tackle. He's got the 25 down inside the 23-yard line, and they'll mark it down at the 22. It'll be 2nd down and short for Prosper. 8:13 left to go in the second quarter. Boyd on top, 7-6, but Prosper making their move here.
I'm not sure if that should have been that long. There were 3 Boyd defenders back in the backfield who probably should have, at least one of them should have gotten to Tony, and only one blocker there. But he's only 5'10", and that's what, you look back at Emmett Smith, that's what made him so successful. It's because he wasn't big. He was able to make people miss just because he didn't occupy the space that a normal runner would. But if you're Boyd, you got to start tackling a little better.
We'll check down with John Leidy after this play. 2nd down and short. Flags everywhere coming from the back. That might be a delay of game. John, talk to us down on the sidelines.
Well, guys, y'all were just talking about the defensive line being in the backfield. 3 of the 4 defensive linemen were in the backfield, but they came in uncontrollably. The quarterback just snuck in between 2 of them, and up the field he went. Back up to y'all, guys.
All right, thanks a lot. We're going to take a quick timeout. 7-6 Boyd on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. 2nd down and short for Prosper. Shotgun formation. Man moved early. And Tony hits his man on the far sideline. That is his wide receiver. It's good enough for a 1st down if there is no flag. I could have sworn I saw the slot receiver for Prosper move just a little bit early, but they're going to say no. Corey Miller makes the catch, and that's going to move the sticks.
3rd receiver to catch a pass so far for Prosper. Only a 5-yard gain, but when you need 3, it'll get the job done.
The ball will rest at the 18-yard line, 18 yards away from pay dirt for the Prosper Eagles. Moving left to right, Tony, the quarterback, shotgun formation, sends a man in motion. He's going to roll to the near side. He's going to tuck it at the 15, and he's going to go down right at the 11-yard line is where his knee hit. So it's 6:58 left to go in the second quarter clock. Boyd on top, 7-6 momentarily. Prosper looking like they're about to punch it in.
Yeah, a lot of his tackles, Monty. Some Boyd defenders are getting close to the ball carrier, and I don't know how much of it is the fact that they haven't played together, that this is their first game, or if it's the quarterback, or maybe a combination of both, and making the Boyd defenders miss.
And that's going to happen a lot. We talk about no seniors on that defense. This is a straight I formation, handoff to Griffin up the middle, pounding his way like Moose Johnston into the end zone, and Prosper has a touchdown by Drew Griffin, the fullback, 5'10", 205 pounds, and he just bulled his way all the way 11 yards for the score.
First touchdown for him was 10 yards, second one's 11. He's got 40 yards on the day, 21 of them have been on touchdown runs.
Wow. That was very impressive rumbling and bumbling by the fullback.
He's one of their better players on defense. And apparently, when you need just some hard-nosed football running, he's one of their better players on offense, too.
Prosper's going to go for 2 here and try to get that point back that they missed earlier. Send a man in motion. And Tony, the quarterback, is going to stand back 3 yards behind the center. He's going to roll out to the left side. He's going to try to pitch the option. He can't do it. A great play by the defensive end, Robert Sparks, who comes over and makes the stop. So 12-7. Prosper now in the lead. 6:22 left to go in the second quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy. It was a 6-play, 74-yard drive by Prosper, capped off by an 11-yard touchdown by Drew Griffin, the fullback. The biggest play on the drive was a 50-yard pass from Tony to Andrews, and that really set up the touchdown. And Prosper goes on top here, 12-7 at Ron Post Stadium, and McKinney Boyd looking to answer back, and I'm sure right here on this drive. Corey Miller is going to tee it up, and a squib kick. Oh, it's right off one of the Boyd up men. A fight for it right at midfield, and Boyd did recover. I believe the ball bounced off of Justin Cordova.
Yeah, 56. Coming up, he was able to get it.
And obviously, Miller was not trying to kick it at Cordova. He was trying to kick a squib kick. It just happened to hit the up man, bounced off of him. Cordova, the smart thing to do, just dove right at the football and came up with it.
Well, he had to, because if he didn't, it was going to be clearly Prosper ball, and that's what I make reference to earlier, why I don't understand why Boyd's not kicking it hard. He wasn't aiming for an up back, but if that happens, you put yourself in a real good position to get the ball. Boyd got lucky with the bounce.
1st and 10, just shy of midfield. Sears, the quarterback for Boyd, rolling out right side. He decides to cut it and tuck it and run. Excuse me, he crosses the 50 on the option and gains about 6 yards.
Very tentative start to that option. It looked like he was basically tiptoeing or almost jogging it, uncertain if he wanted to keep it or not, waiting for Prosper to do something. And he finally just said, you know what, I'll just go ahead and keep it myself.
And he did a good job.
Yeah.
Because on 2nd and 4, here they are at their 47-yard line. Man in motion, or man jumps off sides, could be a flag. This is going to be A.J. Jones, picks up the first down and more as it crosses the 40, close to the 35-yard line. I didn't see if the flag was actually thrown. One of the defensive linemen jumped across the line of scrimmage, but I believe he got back in time. But they're going to move the sticks, and that gives us time to talk to John Leidy down on the sidelines.
Yes, guys, y'all mentioned earlier about the defense. My belief is it's team chemistry. They're young. They've only been practicing together in pads for about 3 weeks. That's something that's just got to be, it's good effort. It's just got to be coached up to run up the field uncontrollably. On offense, the time between the quarterback and the wide receiver just has to be fixed. Back up y'all.
All right, thanks. A.J. Jones, in the meantime, runs for 5 yards on first down. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 5 with 5:04 left to go in the second quarter. And Prosper leading right now, 12-7, but here comes Boyd moving the football.
Nice little game so far for A.J. Jones. He's got 7 carries already for 30 yards, including the one and only touchdown so far.
Ball at the 33-yard line in Prosper territory. Shotgun formation, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. A.J. Jones standing right behind Phillip Sears, the quarterback. He's going to get it and roll left, pitches it out to A.J. Jones, running left tackle, trying to escape some tacklers and can't do it. But he does get back to the line of scrimmage and actually gains a couple of yards out to the 30-yard line.
Nice job by Sears to have the heads-up ability just to pitch it out when he had the blitz coming from the outside, on both sides, coming from inside the tackles. He was able to pitch it out. Jones made one-man miss getting back to the line of scrimmage and was able to dive forward for that gain of 2.
Enos and Fuller split out wide. Fuller to the right side. A.J. Jones stands right behind Sears. It'll be 3rd down and short, 3rd and 3 to be exact. 3:56 left to go in the second quarter, and a timeout has been called. We'll take 1, 2. 12-7, Prosper in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 3rd down and 3, 3:55 left to go in the second quarter. Sears is going to run the option to the right side. Is he going to get the 3 yards he needs? He's in traffic, he's in trouble, and he's down behind the first down marker. So it's going to be 4th down and about 2 yards, maybe 1.5, and I think it actually is closer to 2. So an interesting decision here. Coach Don Drake's going to have to make maybe the first big decision that he's had as a head coach. Do you keep him out there, or do you try to pin them deep, even deeper than they are here?
You get a touchback, you've gained 9 yards, I'd probably go for it.
Well, it looks like that's what they're going to do. Sears,
Shotgun.
Philip Sears in shotgun formation. 2 receivers to the near side. 1 to the far side is Jeff Fuller. Might just throw the lob up there. A.J. Jones standing right behind Sears, maybe trying to draw him off sides. He has the snap, actually. 1-step drop, throwing it up for Fuller. Way out down the sideline, and it's out of bounds. Overthrown, and that's one of those things. You know, you were talking about the timing route. Fuller was talking about the timing route. Sears has talked about the timing route. That's the problem when you have this offense and new players involved. It's just a timing issue, and it's going to be one of those things that it's going to have to take time to work out.
Well, you got to give them credit for a gutsy call there. Prosper's defense was aiming for a blitz up the middle, so that's what they were preparing for. And in fact, if that ball's not a couple of feet, or rather yards out of bounds, that may have been, if not a touchdown, at least a first down and a big play. But I'll give him credit for a gutsy call. And you know what? I like that. I like risky calls like that because if they pay off, it works beautifully.
2:59 in second quarter. Another high snap. Tony's going to have to fall on it. A big loss for Prosper all the way back inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. So, again, Prosper having all kinds of problems. They actually played last week. Boy, this is their first ever game. Prosper at least has a game under their belt, and they're the ones that look like they haven't played.
Minor, that's actually going back to the 13. That's a 16-yard loss.
Wow.
I mean, this is, for a team that's already played, you'd think that Prosper was the first-year team. You know, they've already turned the ball over 3 times versus Boyd's once. Now, they've had a couple of miscommunications just on the center snap exchange.
Well, let's remember they were a 2A team last year, playing a 4A team today. 2 flags down, and Tony's in all kinds of trouble. They run the middle screen, but Griffin brings it down. A nice play by Prosper, but right there for the Broncos is the linebacker Minor, who's going to come up with the play. And also over there, I believe, was Ryan Sparks. But 2 flags on the play, and Brandon, I think you're indicating holding.
Okay, or legal shift as the referee calls. I saw a holding either way. Wait and see what happens here.
Either way, the ball is going to be brought back. That was a nice middle screen, and we saw in the scouting report that, you know, they might run that middle screen a lot, that they did last week, and once again used it here once they got backed up deep in their own territory. That's kind of like, you know, what used to be the draw play of the 80s. The middle screen has kind of turned into here recently.
And they're going to decline the penalty, and, you know, when you're facing a 3rd and 15 after the pass play, that's certainly something that you can do and still keep your defense in good position so they lose the down and still have 15 yards to go.
Well, it was a 9-yard pickup then. 1:52 and rolling here in the second quarter before half. 12-7. Prosper in the lead. And Tony will actually go under center for one of the few times tonight. Sends 3 receivers out to the left, 1 to the right, and now another timeout has been called.
They're facing a delay of game. They had to.
We'll keep this one right here. You know what? And recapping this first half so far, I think if you're Boyd, you've got to be pretty happy in a sense that you know what you've got with A.J. Jones. He's been able to pretty much do what he wants to back there. Your problems, you kind of knew that anyway. They're going to be the timing routes. You know, Philip Sears trying to find his way out to Fuller has missed him on a couple occasions, which could have been actually 2 huge plays, but just overthrew him on one and underthrew him on the other, which led to an interception.
Well, and I'm going to give you a number, and you tell me where you think this number goes in the stat category. 0.
Turnovers.
No, they've had 1 turnover.
Oh.
0 penalties so far, Monty, believe it or not.
That is very impressive.
They've been flagged once, but that was declined. But they have 0 accepted penalties so far.
that's something to be commended for.
Especially, I mean,
on a
you look
first-year
at it,
program.
we're getting close to a full half plate, and they haven't been flagged for any noticeable yardage. And that, you're right. I mean, you can look at a lot of things, the missed tackling. You can look at things like that missed timing on the passing routes. But when you have no penalties, that's definitely something to build on at least. While
we're waiting for the players to come back out on the field, we want to say hello out there to Lynn Burkhead, a legend in broadcasting in North Texas, has been doing the Denison Yellow Jackets for a lot of years, and Sherman Bearcats before then. Underwent a quadruple bypass earlier in the week.
Oh, man.
But is doing well, we understand. So, Lynn, if you're listening, and I hope you're not because I know you don't need to be handling the stress, but here is a first down, or actually the third down run for Prosper, and it's not going to be anywhere near the first down marker as it actually gets up to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be fourth down and about 8, which means punt time. But going back to Lynn, we've worked together for a long time back in Denison, back in Sherman. I just wanted to acknowledge Lynn Burkhead and all the work he's done for Next Media all of the years, and hopefully he'll be able to return next year for the Yellow Jackets. I know they'll miss him up there.
He is a good guy.
Another timeout has been called. It'll be fourth down and 8 for Prosper at their own end of the field at the 31, so obviously it'll be punt time. They're just trying to keep A.J. Jones or some of those guys from returning this punt.
Well, and that's a good call running it up the middle. You're facing 3rd and 15. You don't want to risk a passing play when you're up by, in this case, 5. You might say a touchdown, but they missed those 2 extra points. You don't want to risk the turnover, and by running it, you force Boyd to take a timeout too, because if they don't, then you just milk that extra 30 seconds off the clock for them to set the ball, and then leave about 5 seconds left on the play clock, and all of a sudden you're down to a minute before you even punt.
Well, 1:33 on the clock right now, 12-7, Prosper in the lead. Corey Miller standing at his own 20-yard line for Prosper to punt this one away. It's a low-line driver. It's going to be taken by Boyd Broncos. And A.J. Jones drops it. He tried to pick it up on the run, and he dropped it. And it looks like Prosper is going to come up with the football. They're pointing, but no. A.J. Jones recovers his own fumble, and, that was one of those where it was kind of scary from the get-go. It was bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. Prosper was coming up around him, and he finally took a sprint towards the football, tried to pick it up on the run, but just mishandled it.
While it's not a smart idea to do that on a given situation, if he'd have held on to the ball, if A.J. would have kept it, he would have been able to get at least 5 more yards out of it, possibly 10. And who knows, the way that was set up, he was already behind 3 or 4 Eagles. That could have been a big play if he'd have held on to it. But I don't recommend doing that.
1:23 before half. 60 yards to go for Boyd as they're at their own 40-yard line. Sears wants to run the option left side. He's going to keep it 45 up to the 47-yard line. A nice gain there of about 7 yards, bring up second and short. But more importantly, the clock is rolling at 1:10.
Yeah, if you can get the first down on the ground, you'll stop the clock. But other than that, you might want to think about passing. But as seeing as how suspect the passing game's been so far, Sears is only 1 of 5 throwing. Might not be a bad idea to try to get some yards on the ground.
Fuller split out wide right. He wants to throw it to the left side, however, and overshoots Weston Eubanks by about 4 yards. So, again, Sears' passing and timing routes have been way off.
Well, I'm not going to credit that one totally to Sears because I don't know if Eubanks ran as fully as he could on that one because he was getting caught up in traffic there. Likely to be incidental contact. Well, obviously there's no flag, so it would be incidental contact. But there was a little bit of contact in the secondary there, forcing Eubanks to get a little slower to the ball.
Fuller and Eubanks on the right side. A.J. Jones stands right behind Sears, who's in shotgun formation. Now he moves to the right of him, and they're going to run their option. And Jones gets the toss. He's up to the 50, has the first down, 45. To the 41-yard line, and there are 41 seconds left on this halftime clock. Clock will stop momentarily in order to move the change, but 40 seconds on the clock, 1st and 10. McKinney Boyd inside Prosper territory at the 41-yard line.
Monty, that's the first 3rd down conversion for the Boyd Broncos.
Running the option to the left side this time. Sears is going to keep it. He's got the 35 being drugged down. Now has the right side, spins out of a tackle up to the 30. Needs to go down to stop the clock. It's down to 25, 24. Whistles blow. He's going to be close to another first down, however.
That's why it was a good idea not to go down. Again, in retrospect, all things we know, because he got the first down, allowing the clock to stop. Although they take a timeout, so it doesn't matter anyway.
We're going to take one, too. 12-7, Prosper in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Sears back to pass, and Fuller incomplete and out of bounds, trying for the end zone, trying for that home run ball on first down actually, and the ball was well under. I don't know if it was underthrown, overthrown, but it was thrown too far to the right. Fuller couldn't get it.
Well, there was good secondary coverage, not preventing Fuller to adjust to the ball.
Second down and 10 for Boyd. Sears drops back 3 steps, wants to throw right side again, trying to find Fuller. No, that's Eubanks, and he underthrows it, and it's intercepted at the 4-yard line. And I believe that's once again going to be Corey Miller on the interception.
And it is Corey Miller. I'm not sure if Sears was hit as he was throwing or if something caught it, but that was one of the ugliest passes, which is – I'm pretty sure he got hit because the Eagles were applying some pretty good pressure from the defensive line. They were also coming in on a blitz, and that's what caused that duck to happen. Now Prosper takes over with 9 seconds left at the 11-yard line, so expect to see either run up the middle or a knee here, and they'll go to the locker room with a 5-point halftime lead.
Yeah, at their own 11-yard line with 9 seconds. Probably not much doing here. 12-7, Prosper in the lead over Boyd here at Ron Poe Stadium. And Tony will just take an E here, and it is halftime at Ron Poe Stadium. So if you're Don Drake, I think you got to be happy on several issues with your team, but I think there are probably other things that you'd like to work on, and I'm sure he'll talk about with his team. We're going to check down with John Leidy and see if he can talk to the defensive coordinator for Boyd.
Yes, I'm here with McKinney Boyd, defensive coordinator Gary Smith. How do you feel about the first half, Coach?
Well, we played a lot better than we've been playing the last couple of weeks. I saw some improvement. We gave up a couple of big plays that we shouldn't give up. Had a corner beat on a smash route and missed a few tackles that hurt us.
Okay, what changes would you like to make in the second half, sir?
Well, they're doing some things against us on the speed option that we're going to have to make some adjustments to, getting different people on the pitch and different people on the quarterback.
Thank you, Coach, and have a great half.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Great job down there. Coming up at halftime, John will make his way up here, and we'll be talking to Steve Kirk from McKinneySports.net, the beat writer for McKinney Boyd. 12-7, Prosper in the lead. And Brandon, how do you sum up this first half?
Well, I'm not sure if the ultimate outcome is what you would like. They did look good on certain occasions, most specifically A.J. Jones on offense, but the defense, you got to make those tackles. It looks like there's some like John mentioned earlier on one of his sideline reports, the youthfulness of just got to get the nervous energy. Got to run here, got to get them here, and they're out of position where instead, okay, here we go. He's coming this way. Let me just set up. Okay, make the tackle. And it looks like there's a lot of that over pursuing. So if they can get that settled in, they'll be in good shape. But you got to like what you see from A.J. Jones, and you might want to start trying to wean away from the passing a little bit and try to refine that more as you go in practice.
Only in passing situations, right?
Sure. Exactly right. Yeah. You know what, though? I'll still go back to that 4th down attempt where they threw a little fade. I like that call because they're not expecting it. They sent 9 guys in the box there, and they had that one-on-one coverage on their receivers, the 2 receivers out there. So, situations like that, usually few and far between. But if you can do it, it's going to turn out in the long run if you can get those timings down to be a good play.
12-7, Prosper in the lead over McKinney Boyd in the first ever McKinney Boyd football game. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Steve Kirk of the McKinneySports.net beat writer for McKinney Boyd. 12-7 at Ron Poe Stadium. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy. 12-7, Prosper in the lead here over McKinney Boyd in their first ever game. Brandon, we were talking in the pregame show about a tent that was down in the northwest corner of the end zone and wondering, if is that going to be the run-through for one of these teams. Jokingly. And we think we have confirmation that it's a cheerleading pup tent. And we're going to try to send John Leidy down on on that and see what he can find out about that, because it's absolutely driving us crazy. And
you know what?
It just looks kind of funny, a camping tent in the northwest corner by the track over here.
I said during the break that's one of the weirdest things. I take that back. It's weird from a different standpoint. We don't see it a lot. But you know what? Why not? Why not?
Well, obviously a tent is not all we're talking about here at half. The McKinney Boyd Broncos have looked good and they've looked bad in certain situations. I would say running the football is where they have looked good. Throwing the football at times is where they have looked bad. And let's talk about that.
Yeah, 84 yards rushing. That's not bad. They're only 24 yards behind Prosper, what they've been able to do on the ground. But you guys can remember they've had a lot more plays. On the offensive end, there's been a couple of 3-and-outs for McKinney Boyd. There hasn't been a whole lot of rest time for that Boyd defense either. They've been going up against the line the offense for Prosper for quite some time. So this is now probably a good opportunity where you got to tell your offense, hey, let's get something sustained going. On their touchdown, remember, that wasn't sustained. That was 3 plays because they took over inside the 20. Didn't even get to a 3rd down on that. You got to get your offense to start churning it out a little more to see what they can do in terms of getting the defense some rest.
Now, the Prosper Eagles, on the flip side, yes, they were a 2A school last year, just moved up to 3A. And, yes, they're in the same district with Salina and Pilot Point and Van Alstyne and some of those teams. And it's going to be tough for them this season to make the playoffs in that kind of a district. However, they're working on some things also. They have a brand new head coach, as we mentioned, Kent Scott, who is 15-36 in his 5 seasons as a head coach. He started out at A&M Consolidated as an assistant, then went to Sam Houston State. He actually attended and graduated from Sam Houston State, but he actually was an assistant coach there several years ago, went on to Rogers and then made a stop at Alvarado, got the head coaching job at Rawls, and then came from East Bernard, where he's been the past couple of years, made his way to Prosper here this year. Prosper, like we mentioned earlier, were a playoff team last year and a good one in Class in 13-2A in their district. They were 4-1 last year, the Class 2A Division II regional semifinals. So this is a team with playoff experience, but they lost some starters and they lost some key starters, to be quite honest, and they're struggling to find their own. And Tyler Toney has really struggled at the quarterback position, just keeping the ball in his hands.
If you take away the turnover aspect, he's done fairly well outside of that. He's 4 of 5 passing for 70-plus yards. And on the ground, if you take away the fumbled snaps and a couple of sacks, he's averaging about 4 to 5 yards per rush, and he's had some big first down carries in there. But if you can't hang on to the ball, and one of those turnovers led directly to 7 points on a 3-play carry, or on a 3-play drive by Boyd. Think about what difference that could make right now. 12-0 certainly looks a lot better than 12-7. 1 touchdown all of a sudden, and you don't even have to worry about the extra point. Boyd's up. And let's talk about that for a minute. That's something I don't understand, Monty. The 2-point conversion. It seems to me you've seen so many opportunities here in this last few years, especially now that it's been popularized in the NFL, where coaches struggle with that. Oh, we missed the extra point, let's get it back. You should really only go for it when you need that extra point. Because think about it, unless you have no respect for your kicker, how much better would that extra point look right now if they're leading 13-7? Now,
well, you'd always like to have a 6-point lead rather than a 5-point lead like it is now.
That's exactly what it is now. Let's say, this score holds up till the very end of the ball game, and Boyd's got the last possession. You don't even have to worry about that extra point to win it now.
Well, it makes a big difference, I think. You can see in the NFL maybe going for 2 in those certain situations when the extra point is pretty much automatic. But in high school football, the extra point is far from automatic, and you can talk to the McKinney Lions about that with their problems that they've had over the past couple of weeks. A 6-point lead in high school is a lot better than 5. And, it's one of those things that, you can say in the NFL, you can get away with trying those things early in the game. But really in high school football, I think you're right. You have to wait until you really need it.
Yeah, and, I've watched the Cowboys get bit by that so many times, especially in the Bill Parcells era, where they went for 2 in the second quarter. They didn't get it, and all of a sudden you go into that 7 rather to that fourth quarter, and you're down, instead of 7, you're down 8. Now, the 2-point conversion should be an excitement thing at the end of the game to try to say, here go, we're going to, we're down 8, we're going to tie it up, or we're down by, however many points to it, whatever the last possession is, or, when you absolutely, like in the fourth quarter, if you're down multiple touchdowns, hey, why not go for 2? Try to get them back. But that wasn't the case here. They were just trying to get back a missed extra point. I don't understand it.
Well, trying to give you some scores around the area, we did see that Greenville was leading Sherman 14-10, and I believe that one is at Greenville, if I remember right, at TA Cotton Forge Stadium in Greenville. But the other scores on the scoreboard are going by really fast, and I don't have a chance to get those for you. We'll try to do that during the break, and we'll do that right now as Prosper leading 12-7 here at Ron Poe Stadium in McKinney over McKinney Boyd. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy, and John is right on that tent. He's trying to find out what's going on with that tent in the northwest end of the stadium. But right here, it's 12-7. Prosper in the lead over McKinney Boyd, and here comes the McKinney Boyd Broncos, and they do have something to run through this time. They did have a sign to run through. The cheerleaders held up something for them, and they make their way out of the field through the victory line. And they need a victory here. You need to set the tone for a new program.
Well, they're going to get the kickoff coming out of the half, so that's a start.
And if you're Don Trigg, what do you do coming out of the half?
Well, you got a young squad. I mean, this isn't like, this is even a bad team. We don't know.
I think a heavy dose of A.J. Jones would be in order here.
Well, and you also got to realize you got to find out what you have. Philip Sears has passed the ball 8 times now, but, at least half of those have gone to Jeff Fuller on a fade. That hasn't worked out. Why not try something like that and just, try a passing game, try short passes, things like that. See what else you can try to find in the passing game. Maybe things like that.
All right, let's check down with John Leidy. I think he has a cheerleader down there. What's going on down there? And John may have trouble hearing us at this point.
Where's John?
John is on the far sideline.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, guys. Guys, I've got it. It's called the Eagle's Nest. It's the place for the mascots to go change and rest. So that's about as much information as they'd give me. Back up to the booth with y'all.
So you're telling me that the Eagle mascot goes in there and just takes a nap during the game?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, my goodness. What a lazy mascot.
Can I do that?
I'm just kidding.
During the game? I'll even just take a quarter.
Yeah, we got to make sure and keep our eye on John so he doesn't go in there and take a nap at some point. We go down on the sidelines and he doesn't hear us. He's in there taking a nap in that tent. Here we're underway as the kickoff. Prosper is kicking it off to Boyd, and it's going to be Jeff Fuller who takes it at the 15-yard line, running up to the near side. He cuts it back out, and going down, he might have lost the football. Prosper says they have it at the 25-yard line, and that's going to be crucial.
Pile's been uncleared. We don't see a signal yet from the referee.
No indication.
Generally, if the pile's uncleared and they haven't made a signal, it's likely to be for Boyd, and they're saying everybody to get back.
They want to talk about this.
Well, what's to talk about? If there's a pile, I mean, it was clear that Fuller wasn't down.
Well, referee Smith Holder is talking to the umpire, Fatty Tillman, and they're going to say that Boyd did recover the fumble. So Jeff Fuller is not real happy with himself as he yanks his chin strap off.
Well, the problem is he was carrying the ball like a loaf of bread, to coin an old phrase from my childhood. When you have the ball outside of your body, which is what he was doing, it's a lot easier to strip than it is if you have it close and in tight. And that's all that happened there is he was, you give him credit. He was trying to make a play, but you got to be wary of where your ball is first and foremost.
Well, they have they actually gave Prosper the ball.
Oh, they
there.
sure did.
So Prosper is going to have possession.
Well, this is a killer to start the half.
Prosper will take over possession at the Boyd 27. So no wonder Fuller was really upset. He was upset that he fumbled, but, am I wrong or did the officials signal the wrong way?
Well, I thought so, and the sideline jumped in favor on the Boyd side, so who knows?
They may have jumped in anger, I guess, because Prosper coming up to the line of scrimmage, and Tyler Toney is coming up to the line of scrimmage, and he hands off to Bates up the middle. He's busted right at the line of scrimmage. That is a huge play by the Broncos. Defensive end Robert Sparks, who just gave a spark to Fuller Bates, the 5'10", 170-pound senior tailback.
Well, that's exactly what you needed on the first play coming out of the half. When you're down by 5 and you coughed up the ball on the kick return, you drop a carrier for a yard loss on the first play. That's a good start, and hopefully you'll see more of that from this Boyd defense.
Tyler Toney in shotgun formation this time, rolls out left side under a lot of pressure, throws it out in the flats, has his man. Miller makes the catch right at the first down marker and struggles his way out of bounds, but I think he might have gained a couple of more yards, and the official says no, they mark him down just past the first down marker right at the 16-yard line in Boyd territory. 17-yard
gain. Miller's now the first Prosper Eagle to get more than one catch, and it's a first down.
And now Tyler Toney looks pretty relaxed back there.
Well, he got a good block, and he seems to be more relaxed when he rolls out.
And he is rolling out a lot. First down and 10. Toney's going to toss this time to Bates, and Bates is really quick trying to find that near corner, crosses the 10-yard line, but he can't escape the tackle of Parker Bolinas and goes down after a minimal gain. Actually, they'll mark him at the 9-yard line, so not a bad gain. Second down and 3.
Officially a gain of 7, and that's what's so deceptive about Bates, because he gets there so fast. You initially may not think that he gained a lot of yards, but he did in that carry as he was getting outside the tackle.
Yeah, it looked like he just gained 2 or 3 yards, when in fact he did. He gained 7.
Well, it goes back to his quickness. By the time he takes the pitch, he's only a couple of yards away from the line of scrimmage.
I formation, handoff up the middle. That's the big fullback once again, and that's Drew Griffin barreling his way down to close to another first down, and I believe he's going to get this. They will.
Oh, yeah.
They will move the sticks, and it'll be first and goal inside the 5 at about the 3-yard line. Griffin, when he gets the ball, he takes the entire defense with him.
He's now up to 52 yards, rushing on 10 carries, and that's basically from the fullback position, although sometimes he will be the lone back in the backfield, but he's a bruiser, no question about it.
Split out wide, and 2 receivers to either side, handoff Griffin up the middle. They just split it out and run it straight up the middle, flag down. It is a touchdown. Griffin got in, but there is a flag in the end zone, and that could be a personal foul. It came pretty late.
Yeah, likely that's what will happen on a late like that. You're looking at late hit, unnecessary roughness, things like that.
The points are not on the scoreboard yet.
Well, they won't be till we get the call.
It is a face mask against Boyd. It'll be declined, so the touchdown will hold true. Drew Griffin, his second touchdown of the night. This one came from 3 yards out. His last one came from 11. There's 9:53 left on the clock. Right now, it's 18-7, awaiting the PAT. And teeing it up for Prosper will be Corey Miller. If they do, in fact, tee it up, and they won't, they're going to go for 2 again, as Tyler Toney will go under center, I formation. Bates in the backfield. They're going to hand off to Griffin. No, they're going to do the option around the right side. Toney's going to keep it and dives over the marker, and he got it. 2-point conversion for Prosper, 20-7. Prosper in the lead here at Ron Post Stadium. 9:53 left to go in the third quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. 20-7, our new score. Prosper over McKinney Boyd. It was a 5-play, 73-yard drive that took a minute 34 off the clock. Drew Griffin scored from 3 yards out, his second score of the night. And now Prosper will tee it up. Corey Miller will fake the quail onside and draw everybody back to the 45-yard line, or the 35 actually. He stands at the 32. And runs to the football, and it is another squibber. It's going to roll right down the middle. This time, A.J. Jones kicks it around before he picks it up. He's at the 22, running backwards to the 17, makes his way across the 20, 25-30, stutters his way out to the 35-40, looking for another tackle to break. As, man, I'm telling you what, that is just amazing the way he's just jitterbugging around out there, crosses the 40 out to the 41-yard line.
Right now, that's probably your player of the game for Boyd. Definitely candidate number one. That was a simple return. A nice little job by Prosper in clogging up the middle, but the streakers didn't do their job. The streakers are the guys on the ends who are told not to let anybody get outside of them. Jones did that. And in fact, he probably made that one streaker miss, but plain fact of the matter is he didn't do his job.
1st and 10, 9:40 on the third quarter clock. 20-7, Prosper in the lead. Sears is going to have to start throwing the ball, I'm afraid, but he hands off to A.J. Jones right up the middle, and A.J. is going to gain about 2 yards before he's tackled by almost the entire Prosper defense. It'll bring up second down and long, second down and about 8 after the 2-yard gain.
Handoff up the middles are the likely ones where you're going to see the gang tackling, because that's where generally there's more people per real estate. And that's what happened there. You saw at least 5 white shirts in on the tackle, or at least helping on the tackle.
Second down and 8 for McKinney Boyd. Standing at their own 43-yard line. Sears a shotgun formation. Eubanks in motion. He's going to get the toss. And he gets the handoff coming across the middle. He puts the ball on the turf, but it rolls out of bounds. And I'm telling you what, these guys are going to have to start wrapping up that football, or they're really not going to give themselves a chance tonight.
Good block there from A.J. Jones, A.J. Jones, as one of the cornerbacks came in on a blitz, and that would have been dead in the water and probably even a fumbled exchange had Jones not taken the knees out of the blitzer, allowing Eubanks to get that extra yard before he at least fumbled it out of bounds. He had the heads-up alertness to push the ball out of bounds because there was no way he was going to be able to get it uncontested.
3rd down and 7. Big third down here early on in the second half for McKinney Boyd. Sears in shotgun formation, 2 receivers to the right side. A.J. Jones behind him, going to run that option to the right side. Pitches it out to Jones. He's got the 45 before he's tripped up after about a 1-yard gain. So the ball will be rested at the 45-yard line, shy of midfield. It'll be punt time for McKinney Boyd.
Again, not a situation that Boyd has been good at, the third down conversions. They're only 1 of 6 now on the night.
Hey, John, down on the sidelines, after that touchdown by Prosper, did you see any change in emotion by the Boyd Broncos?
Yes, sir. The heads are starting to sink a little bit. The youth and inexperience is starting to show in this second half. The simple wrapping up when you're tackling just ain't quite working. The fullback for Prosper, run them over. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot. This is going to be the punter, Miller Burns, punting it away, and Bates makes the catch at the 24-yard line, running up the field in the middle of the field out to the 40-yard line. So a nice 16-yard punt return by Fuller Bates.
A nice net, or not a net punt, a pure punt of 42 yards. But again, no hang time there for Burns, allowing a nice return for Prosper.
You know, a lot of these names will be familiar to you as brothers of other Lions and McKinney North Bulldogs. Bo Burns, younger brother, is Miller Burns, the punter here at McKinney Boyd. You'll remember Bo Burns last year from McKinney North. 1st down and 10 for Prosper. 7:40 left to go in the third quarter. New tailback into the game, and he's going to cut it up to the middle, and that's Monroe. Big hole, finally drugged down by Parker Bolinas, but not until a 22-yard gain, crossing midfield into McKinney Boyd territory at the 38-yard line.
I saw something I didn't like on that play, Monty. I saw a give up. Coming around, one of the defenders was going on the left side. The ball was running away from him, and he just started jogging. But had he been going full speed, he would have been able to catch the cut there from Tyler Milliken. And as it was, it turned out to be a 22-yard gain.
Well, Monroe came in for one play, had 22 yards, and came out. Now into the game, this end-around reverse, and Fuller's got the ball, and he's fast. Fuller Bates crosses the 35 out to the 31-yard line before he's dragged out of bounds. And on the stop, Chase Enos for McKinney Boyd. But, you know, one of those things is that Monroe, who came in for that one play, and then you think, wow, maybe he should stay in for a while. And then right back into the game is Fuller Bates, who maybe he had something wrong with his shoulder pad. It'll be second down and short, second down and 3. Exactly 7 minutes left to go in the third quarter. 20-7, Prosper in the lead in this first ever Boyd Bronco game. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Prosper moving. 2 receivers to either side. Tony wants to throw it out near side. Almost intercepted by McKinney Boyd. The cornerback almost picked it off. That was Peoples once again. Lamar Peoples, who made a big fumble recovery earlier, just missed the interception. So it'll bring up a third down and 3 with 6:55 left to go in the third quarter.
Prosper been very good on the third down conversions. They're 3 of 3. You have that few, that means something's going right for your offense. And then when you convert all of them, something's going even better.
High formation, handoff, fumble on the play. The fullback got the carry, but he immediately kicked it with his knee, and Boyd recovers. And he not only kicked it for a few yards, he kicked it about 10 yards. The safety for McKinney Boyd came up and with the football, and that might have actually been Weston Eubanks who came up with it.
I'll go with that.
We might have to check that.
Well, if you have to give an Achilles heel to Prosper, it's got to be the turnover factor. That's their 4th fumble given up. And they fumbled a couple other times that they were able to get.
Boyd will take over at their own 21-yard line. It is Philip Sears, the quarterback, in shotgun formation. A.J. Jones stands right behind him. He's going to roll right side, gets a good block from A.J. Jones. Sears still in trouble, though, and is going to be tackled behind the line of scrimmage at about the 19-yard line. He got a good block initially from Jones, but 2 other defenders were right in his face.
That's what I'm talking about, pursuit. While I was disappointed on the last Boyd possession I was making mention of, where I said I saw something I didn't like. That's why pursuit's good, because when there's one cut and you're in pursuit going full speed, you're going to be able to make the play.
6:18 left to go in the third quarter. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the right, 2 men in the backfield. Actually, that's just Jones in the backfield, standing behind Sears, who's in shotgun formation. Sears standing at his 15-yard line. He wants to throw, throws it out left side. Has his man Enos. It's caught at the 22, dragging people, and now he's being drugged. Fights out of it somehow. Now he runs backwards. He may be in trouble, and it might even be a loss. Has a defender on his ankle back at the 9-yard line. And is that inexperience for you? Enos, who was trying to fight out of the tackle and gain more yardage, ended up losing about 12 yards. So yards after contact is not going to be favorable for Mr. Enos tonight.
Well, as soon as he caught the ball, he gave up ground immediately, and that's one thing that you're coached not to do. It's going to be officially a loss of 8 on the play, and now that gives Philip Sears negative 4 yards passing, Monty.
Not what Coach Don Drake wanted to see on the first ever night, especially when he comes from a program at North.
Yeah. Loves to pass.
Here's going to be a handoff to A.J. Jones, running right tackle. Big open inside, but he runs outside and carries it out to the 18-yard line. A gain of 10 yards, but well shy of the first down. And on 3rd and 22, it's going to be punt time once again for McKinney Boyd.
That was basically a play to get more breathing room. He gained 9 yards on the play, and they still didn't get to the original line of scrimmage. But he's given his punter a little better possession, or rather field position, give him a little bit more room so he can get that full length back and put his leg into it. Here's the Miller-Burns punt coming up. A little high snap, slow to get there, but he's able to pull it down. High kick, it's going to be short. Bouncing at the 40, it takes a good Boyd bounce now into Boyd territory. It's going to be killed at the 46-yard line, we'll go with. So officially it'll be a punt of about 35 yards. And that's where the Eagles of Prosper will take over. again, not a bad situation for Boyd in getting the high hang time because it gets that coverage team down there, and that's something that Burns hasn't been able to do on a couple of prior plays. So that's where the Eagles take over for their third possession of the half, even of the third quarter. Receiver on each side, Tony under quarterback, scanning the defense, fakes the pass left, rolls out right side, man wide open, that's Taylor Thompson. He catches the ball, and Boyd defenders having a tough time bringing him down. It's going to be a nice first down for the Prosper Eagles. Gain of 15 on the play.
And that's one of those plays that we talked about in the pregame. Taylor Thompson likes to run that out curl. Anytime they're in trouble, they love to run that route. And it was even in the scouting, but somehow McKinney Boyd has failed to capitalize on stopping that one play because Taylor Thompson has been eligible on that play, seems like all night long.
Well, it's only his second catch. And I think they've been getting away from that because the running game's been working so well for them. They've got over 100 yards rushing as a team in the first half alone, and that hasn't been slowed down much here in the second half.
3 minutes, 34 seconds and rolling here. There's going to be Monroe getting the ball carrier, getting the carry on the left side, toss left side. He's going to be close to a first down, and he is really shifty as he's going to be near the first down marker and may actually have it. 3:25 left to go in the third quarter. Prosper on top 20-7.
Another pitch out to the left side, and this time the defensive end not keeping contained again. He just went straight up the field. He's not reading what's going on. He's reacting before he's looking.
And he did not get the first down, actually. It'll be second down and very, very short. John Leidy down on the sidelines taking a look at that. John, how close was it?
Prosper's about a half a yard short on that play. Let's send it back up to you.
All right, second down and about a half yard, John says. And quarterback sneak, Tony is going to do it. And he actually gets about 5 yards. He just dove forward and nobody was in sight. He easily got the first down, and I think he got another 4 yards on that dive.
Well, he went between the center and right guard, and they're going to only credit him with 3 yards on the carry. But the blocking was just so well. If he wouldn't have dove, might have stayed on his feet, might have gotten more.
It'll be first and 10, 3:09 left to go in the third quarter. Prosper on top 20-7, and have really dominated here in the second half. I formation for Prosper. Monroe dots the I. It'll be Griffin, the fullback, and Tony wants to roll out. He's under pressure, and now is going to scramble. 25-20, and is really upended by the cornerback, Bolinas. And if there's anything to really be proud of tonight, Parker Bolinas has had a pretty good game over at his cornerback position. It seems like he's made just about every tackle that he needs to.
And considering how many times the Eagles offense has rolled out his way, either on a pitch out or a roll out by the quarterback like we saw there, that's saying something because he's getting a lot of chances.
Second down and 3, 2:22 left to go in the third quarter. Prosper on top 20-7. Again, some other scores to pass along. We had Greenville over Sherman 14-10, but that was at the half. No update yet. This is going to be a handoff. Monroe right up the middle, running right tackle, and once again he's very slippery and very quick and makes his way out to the 11-yard line. He's not very big. Monroe is only 5'7", 165-pound junior, but he's real slippery through the line of scrimmage and very quick.
Well, that fits the mold of every Prosper runner at this point, except for Drew Griffin, who's the bruiser. But, 4 guys have carried the ball, Fuller, Bates, Tyler, Tony, and him, and they've all had that squeaky, there's the ability to get off tackles.
Miller will go out wide left as Tony wants the ball in shotgun formation. He's going to roll left side this time, looking for that option. He does pitch it out to Bates. Bates has the 10. Bates has the 5. Bates has the 3-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds. A flag down comes from the back judge.
Likely to be in the area of holding, legal block, things of that nature.
It was a nice gain by Bates, and they're really running that option to perfection here in the second half. They've done some things. They've made some changes at half. They started, I guess, in the second quarter trying to go to that option a little bit more, but it seems like in the second half they pretty much perfected it.
Sure. And the penalty is indeed an illegal block on the Eagles. Of course, there's no way you don't accept that one. So that'll put him back in a 1st and long situation.
Well, it'll be first down from the 17-yard line is where they're spotting the ball.
That's one of those penalties where you take from where the penalty happened and scoot it back 10.
It looks like 1st and 15. Under a minute and a half here in the third quarter. Tony, the quarterback, rolls out right side, wants to throw, has a man, and it's caught. That's Griffin, the fullback. He caught it at the 10 and barrels his way into the end zone.
Missed tackles.
Drew Griffin, his 3rd touchdown of the night, this one through the air, but really it was all him because as soon as he caught it, he was at the 10-yard line and just barreled his way into the end zone. And that young man is hard to stop.
Well, no kidding. Well, it's going to be tough to figure out who your MVP is, but based on the fact that he scored every touchdown for the Prosper Eagles to this point, no question who your MVP of this game is.
Drew Griffin, the fullback. And like you said, 3rd touchdown of the night. He's been very, very impressive.
11 carries, 55 yards, 3 touchdowns. He does have a fumble.
Going for 2. Once again, the fade route in the end zone. A little bumping and grinding going over there. No flag, and it falls incomplete. Tyler Toney was trying to hit one of his wide receivers, J.L. Gomez, but it falls incomplete. 26-7, our new score. Prosper in the lead over McKinney Boyd. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy. John, talk to us down on the sidelines. You know, that's got to be a crushing blow, that last touchdown.
That last touchdown was a crushing blow. The demeanor of this team is heading south, I hate to say it. The offensive line and defensive line have set the tone for the success for this team tonight. Back up to y'all. All
right, the kickoff is up in the air. It's going to be taken by Fuller once again at the 10-yard line. He picks it off the turf, has the 20. He really takes a shot to the torso at the 25-yard line. He's kind of upended and bent over backwards, but he's okay. Gets up. The ball's going to be spotted at the 25, in between the 25 and the 26, and that's where McKinney Boyd will take over, moving right to left.
You know, now that you're down at this point, you're a first-year club, you know, just run your offense. No point in trying to hurry up offense at this point. Try to figure out where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and that way you can go into the first practice after your first game and work on what you need to work on.
2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. A.J. Jones still into the game. All the starters are still in the game. Philip Sears, the quarterback, stands at the 21 in shotgun formation. The line of scrimmage is the 25. 1:03 left to go in the third quarter. Philip Sears wants to look over the right side, has his man Fuller caught at the 27, and his feet was taken out of him. Somehow he keeps his feet and gains another 3 yards out past the 30 to the 32-yard line, and that'll be a gain of about 7. A good second effort there by Jeff Fuller.
Will you believe that's Fuller's first reception of the day?
Unbelievable.
And also good news, that puts Philip Sears back at 0 yards passing to make up for that loss. So he's completed 3 passes for 0 yards.
Little Elm over Denton, 21-7. That might have been Geyer, actually.
Yeah.
And Sherman actually on top of Greenville, 14-10. Here's A.J. Jones running around right tackle, has the first down, but busted right after that on the far sideline. But A.J. Jones will move the sticks after about a 3-yard gain. The ball's going to be spotted at the 37-yard line.
There's your bright spot so far. It's been A.J. Jones.
Yeah. And he's had a lot of success running right.
Sure.
Right behind the big linemen Jeremy Rain and Matt Budinska. The center, Rusty Walton. He's had a lot of success, and you got to tip your hat to the offensive lineman. And whistles blow before this play can get underway, and it's because the third quarter clock has expired. 26-7, Prosper on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and John Leidy. 26-7, Prosper in the lead over McKinney Boyd, and Boyd's first ever game.
Well, wait.
I was going back to North last year, I guess.
Let's
somehow.
not put the cart before the horse here, Monty.
Moving left to right now in the fourth quarter is Boyd. A.J. Jones will move to the left side of Sears, who wants to throw it out to Fuller. It's caught right at the line of scrimmage, but going nowhere. He's gang tackled by 3 Prosper Eagles, including Mr. Miller, Corey Miller out there, who makes a stop. And John Leidy down on the sidelines says he has something to say.
We'll see.
Yes, guys, y'all mentioned that A.J. Jones has looked good running that toss sweep right. That's partially because the offensive line has been letting a few guys up the middle, so his only option has been to go outside. Along with the passing, has only been short 2 to 3 yard passes. Back up to y'all.
You're right. He did have something.
He did. John Leidy.
Coming through.
We have found us a new sideline guy, let me tell you. Sears is going to run the option left side. This is A.J. Jones. Gets the toss, and behind the line of scrimmage, he's gang tackled. Right there is John Michael Williams for Prosper, and not a good carry that time for A.J. Jones, but I don't think it was much his fault.
Yeah, there's nothing he could have done. There's nothing Sears could have done. Again, good pursuit by the Eagle defense coming in and just zeroing in on Jones, and even before that on Sears. They just happen to have, it almost seems, one more white shirt than there are blue shirts. They're playing very well on defense.
2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side for McKinney Boyd. Sears, the quarterback. A.J. Jones stands behind him. 3rd down and 11. Sears wants to throw. Drops straight back, wants to throw it down the field, and does. Has Fuller caught at the 48-yard line in Prosper territory and dragged down at the 45. That is something to build on as Sears hit Fuller right across the middle. A great timing route that time.
That's the best looking pass we've seen all night from Boyd. They go from the 37 of their own down to their 45. And that's a nice little gain of 18, by far the biggest passing gain of the night.
And Jeff Fuller looks like the Jeff Fuller that we thought we would see.
Would you believe Jeff Fuller has more receiving yards than Philip Sears has passing yards? Because that one big loss.
And Sears is going to run the option. He's going to keep
Nice
it
fake.
45, 40, down to the 38. Thought he had lost the ball for a moment. Flag comes in from the back judge. He's going to be close to the first down, but I think a couple of yards short. We'll see what the flag is, and John Leidy might have a look at the flag.
Yes, that flag was thrown in there late in the area that Philip Sears was at. His face mask on the Eagles. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. A first down for McKinney Boyd. And, you know, we talk about this game being over. There is 10 minutes and 4 seconds left, and we haven't shut the door on this game by any means. A score right here would make it 26-14. Still, you know, a long way to go, but it's not impossible. Crazier things have happened. Ask, was it Plano East?
We're going back to the playoff game from, what was it now, 12 years ago?
94, I think it was. First down and 10 for Boyd. 9:49 left to go in the football game. A.J. Jones, handoff right up the middle. Big hole, runs right over a Prosper Eagle as he ran straight over Austin Anders. And close to, well, he gained about 5 yards, but I'm telling you what, he lowered his shoulder and popped Anders.
Let's go back to a couple of plays prior, back to that Jeff Fuller pass. I mean, that's really good to see because that wasn't one of those passes out to the sideline that they've completed a couple of times because those are almost guaranteed catches. That was a completion into the route. And then you follow that up with another positive run by Philip Sears. You know, within 2 plays, they gained over 30 yards.
Timeout on the field. We'll take one, too. 26-7. Prosper in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Well, that song is the whipping post. I don't know if it's a whipping here. Prosper is on top, 26-7. But Boyd is looking to cut that lead a little bit as they're at the Prosper 17-yard line, and it's 2nd down and 5. A.J. Jones has looked good. Philip Sears and Jeff Fuller have connected here recently, so maybe things are on the upswing. Handoff, A.J. Jones running right tackle, has a big hole, has the 10, has the 5, knocked down at the 4-yard line. A.J. Jones barreling his way towards that end zone.
He's slow to get up. He took a shoulder into the face. What happened was he was hit at his hip area, and so he was kind of gliding through the air, and coming over for the Eagles was Fuller Bates, and he basically was just running, and it looked like Bates' face hit his shoulder pad.
You know, this is probably a good time to mention the fact that Kevin Starks, the backup running back, or would he have been the backup running back? Boyd had 2 really good tailbacks, and one of them moved. Kevin Starks moved to, I think, Georgia, and that's where, you know, really this could have an impact if you have an injury to a key player like A.J. Jones. What you had in depth is not there any longer. And John Leidy down on the field. John probably saw that hit as good as anyone. I know you can't really talk about the injury a whole lot, but tell us what you saw.
A.J. Jones just took a hard hit all the way around. He just looked like he's got the breath knocked out of him, and he'll probably sit out a couple plays and be back in. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks, John. He is sitting upright, and you may be right. You may have hit the nail on the head. It may just be the wind knocked out of him or something like that. He did take a pretty good hit. I think he was kind of in the air as he got hit. That's what it was. And he was kind of helicoptered around a little bit. Not massively, but.
Well, when you're running forward, think about, how, let's say you bend over to touch your toes or something and something bumps you from behind, how it can knock your equilibrium off. Well, he was running straight ahead and got hit by the hip while he was taking one of his long steps, which caused him to get knocked into the air a little bit. He's up walking now on his own power at least. A little ginger, but you expect that right away.
Into the game is Zach Jones at the tailback position. And we'll see what Zach Jones can do behind Phillip Sears.
It'll be his first carry of the night.
It is shotgun formation. Fuller is wide right, 2 receivers to the left. Sears wants the ball. Zach Jones moves over to the left side. Bad snap. It's over Sears' head. He has to fall on the ball, and a big loss. And what could have been a great opportunity to put some points on the board maybe kneel now as it goes back to the 17-yard, or actually the 16-yard line. And just bad timing. And a bad snap there. Rusty Walton, the center, just sent it right over Sears' head.
Well, it did hit him in the hands. You got to give fault there, if you will, to both of them. But, one of the things that we haven't seen a lot of Christmas from Boyd tonight, but one of the things we had seen was at least efficient center quarterback exchanges up until that play.
Sears wants to throw it, looks over to the right side, a fade route for Fuller once again in the end zone, and it goes up, and Fuller comes down with it. It is touchdown time in Texas for McKinney Boyd, but hold everything, there's a flag laying in the end zone.
Likely to be defensive pass interference. I don't want to speculate because it might be one of those where it goes either way. And it was pass interference on Prosper, so it's a first touchdown pass in Boyd history.
When in question, just throw the ball up and let Jeff Fuller go up and get it.
That's a 16-yard touchdown completion. And Fuller had a nice drive there, Monty. He had 4 receptions, or rather 3 receptions, 4 on the day, for 33 yards. There's 3 receptions for 33 yards on that drive. That's nice.
It's a low snap. The extra point somehow gets off the tee, and it's no good. He hooked it to the left. There is a flag, however, laying back by the kicker, Travis Yarborough.
Likely to be running into the kicker.
I think it was a low snap that Sears tried to put on the tee. I believe that's Sears, the holder.
It is indeed against the Prosper Eagles. The penalty is running into the kicker. Now this puts up, do you want to go for 2, which I would, at this point, the first game, it's a toss-up. You can get your kicker more experience, or you can give the scenario of your first opportunity for a real 2-point conversion attempt to see what your guys might be able to do in that situation.
I think actually that was Weston Eubanks, the holder, who actually got the ball off the ground, put it on the tee somehow, but it was a little bit too late. A timeout has been called. We're going to keep it right here. McKinney Boyd is probably going to line up and go for 2 here.
Well, then if they make it down 11.
Down 26-13.
Then it's only a 2-score game in that scenario. Yeah, it's probably a good call, especially if you 8 minutes left. There's still plenty of time to do something. You're going to have to rely on your defense to do more than they've done. But if they get a touchdown, 2-point conversion, field goal, all of a sudden we're going to overtime. Yeah, I'd like the call.
What's most important about this fourth quarter is the fact that Boyd just went 10 plays, 75 yards on a drive, which is by far the longest drive in school history.
Yeah, we can safely say that one.
But I think it shows you that, once you get the rhythm going with Sears and Fuller, and you have A.J. Jones to back that up, you really got something here on offense.
Yeah, because now the secondary is going to have to play on their heels rather than creep up to the run. And note, A.J. Jones in the ball game right now as they're trying to go for 2 at the 1-yard line.
Also in the backfield is Jamel Minor. A stacked backfield, 2 receivers to the far side. Handoff, A.J. Jones up the middle, and he's not going to get it. He's stopped right at the line of scrimmage. So nothing doing for McKinney Boyd. 26-13, however, they do get in the end zone. 8:05 left to go in the game. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker, Brandon Helms, John Leidy with you. Thank you for joining us here in McKinney Boyd's first ever game. However, they are being defeated by the Prosper Eagles 26-13 at the moment. And why did you like that 2-point conversion idea, Brandon?
Well, I had been bagging on it before, but let's look at it now. They're down 13 points. If you go for the extra point and make it, all of a sudden it's a 12-point ball game, meaning you still need 2 touchdowns anyway. Plus, you'd gotten the penalty, so now you move it up. So, as it stands now, whether they made the go to the kickoff, and I'll get back to that.
Well, the kickoff will be taken by Prosper at the 22-yard line, and it's actually Tony, the quarterback, who has the ball at the 27-yard line, and that's where they'll start shot. Brandon?
Whether they made the 2-point conversion, it's a 1-touchdown and a field goal game. If you miss the 2-point conversion, it's a 2-touchdown game. If you make the extra point, it's a 2-touchdown game. So that's why I like the call, because you're giving yourself a better chance to win, whereas if you kick the extra point, it's the same thing as a missed 2-point conversion.
John Leidy down on the sidelines. I think John's got something for us as well.
Yes, guys. I spoke earlier of the offensive line. On that last possession, they actually stepped up, had good blocking. They were able to make nice, crisp passes down the field. Let's see if the defense can step up and get the ball back here. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks, John. First down and 10 for Prosper at their own 26-yard line. Handoff, Bates up the middle. He's got the 30. He's got the 35. He's got the first down, and he's got the 38-yard line. He's very quick. 7:51 left to go in the first quarter. 26-13, Prosper on top.
Well, that was a quick first down for Prosper coming out of the kickoff. Needed exactly one play to get it.
11-yard gain by Fuller Bates. It'll be first and 10 from the, actually they're going to give him the 39, so a 12-yard gain.
About 170 rushing yards so far for Prosper on the night.
And it may be Fuller Bates time,
you think,
for Prosper. First and 10, moving right to left. This is going to be the reverse counter trap, and that's going to be the big fullback, Griffin, barreling his way out to the midfield stripe. He has another first down, and I don't know how in the world he just got a first down as he came around the far end. I think he was actually lined up in the tight end or the slot position, came around, got the handoff on the inside, ran parallel to the line of scrimmage for a while, then stiff-armed a couple of guys and pushed his way out to the first down marker.
Well, and you can't give a lot of criticism there to Chris Garrison, the starting free safety, because he came up, and he gives away a lot of pounds to them. The fact that he still was able to hang on illustrates that that was a pretty good play, despite what could have happened.
2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left for Prosper, and they're going to hand off Bates right up the middle, big hole, but it's closed pretty quickly by the McKinney Boyd Broncos. A flag comes in late, and it may be a holding penalty against Prosper. We'll have to check and see. It was about a 3-yard gain for Bates, running right over right guard.
Chop block. That's a killer.
Little Elm over Denton Geyer, 31-7.
Whoa, Frisco 7, Highland Park nothing.
Wow. Sherman over Greenville, 14-10. We'll try to pass along as many scores as we can around the area.
Obviously not the same Highland Park school as last year with Stafford gone at quarterback, but still, that's usually a school that's reloading instead of rebuilding. We saw what Frisco did last year. Obviously they're not a powerhouse, but the fact they're up 7-0 says something. Anyway, back to action, Monty. Chop block. They don't. The UIL doesn't look kindly on those. That's one of the most penalized penalties there are. That's one of the 15-yard variety. And we talk about penalties now. Prosper's starting to rack them up. Their last 2 penalties have gone for a combined 30 yards. A personal foul, face mask. Even though I guess that one it would be normally 15.
Well, this will take Prosper all the way back to the 37-yard line, 38-yard line in their own territory. It'll be first down and 23. A bad snap goes over the head of Tony, and what was bad is even worse, as he's going to fall down on the ball at the 15-yard line and finally be touched down by Justin Cordova. But now what was 1st and 23 is going to be 2nd and 44.
That's a loss of 21. Amazing. Well, you look at it, you'd think Tyler Toney had some good rushing yards. You know, I mean, you just think back how many times he's turned it up, but on the night, 12 carries for 4 yards. I mean, he's lost so many yards going back over a high snap.
How many times can you say this? 2nd down and 44. And it's going to be a toss right to Bates, and he's going to get a lot of it back here up to the 35-yard line. And I'm telling you what, Bates is so quick. He gets through that hole so fast that he's there before the Boyd Broncos even know which direction the play's going.
And that's the problem when you have the inexperienced youngsters. Officially a gain of 19 is when you have a guy that's quick like that, you know, I mean, they can be sometimes slow in reading their reads, I guess. That, you know, like for example, look at Drew Griffin. He's just been running him over. He hasn't been outfoxing him or outracing him because he's not that much quicker. But Fuller Bates has done a really good job in that respect. He's just got those natural skills.
5:07 left to go in the game. This is going to be a toss left. Fuller Bates cuts it up inside. He's got the 45. He's at the midfield stripe. 45, 40, 35, look out, 30, 25, 20. One man to beat, 20. Right down at the 10-yard line is where he's going to go. He gets up, points his hand to the end zone, but he didn't quite make it. A nice tackle finally by one of the McKinney Boyd Broncos, and that's going to be Peoples who ran him down, but not after a huge gain. And when it was 2nd and 44, you know, they said, so what?
But, you know, that should be coming back. You see Parker Belenius down at the 40. He was hitting the bag, Monty. I mean, it wasn't blatant, but the helmet was on the back side of the shoulder. That should have been. That's why he's down on the ground right now.
Well,
that one should have come back.
He's being attended to right at the 40-yard line. Obviously, there will be a stall in action until they get Parker Belenius off the field, and he's still down. Try to pass along some more scores while we're down in action. 21-3, Little Elm over Geyer, actually. Frisco 7-0 over Highland Park. Sherman 14-10 over Greenville. Those are obviously the last scores that we have, and those are the ones being posted on the scoreboard here as Parker Belenius is walking off the field under his own power. So let's hope he's okay. John, what do you got down on the sideline?
Y'all were correct with that. He took a helmet to the back, to the lower back. That is very painful. I've had that actually happen before.
I just don't know how the officials missed it. I mean, it happened right in front of him. I mean, that's the whole reason Bates was able to spring it for that first down, because that would have been right near the first down marker, and as it was, he was able to take it about 30 yards further.
Well, we have mentioned that Parker Belenius has made just about every play that.
And he would have made that one. And that's the frustrating. He was right there, and he got hit in the back. And it's so dangerous. And that's why that should be called. I mean, it's hard to say getting those penalty yards will make up for an injury, but I mean, there's a reason that's penalized, because it can really hurt the defender.
Well, 4:40 left to go in the game. 26-13, Prosper in the lead. And Toney, the quarterback, goes under center this time. He's going to toss right side. Bates is hit in the backfield. Peoples brings him down behind the line of scrimmage, all the way back to the 15-yard line. A loss of 6 on the play.
That was a frustrating hit for Peoples. You can tell he was taking out a lot of it right there.
They're actually going to give him forward progress, so only a 3-yard loss. They'll spot the ball at the 12-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. And, well, it's 2nd down and goal from the scoreboard says 13, but it's actually right at the 12-yard line. 4:01, now under 4 minutes and counting for the first McKinney Boyd football game. 2 receivers to either side. This is going to be the option to the left side, and rolling is Toney. Somehow escapes and fights his way through, shifting his way through that left hash mark, and in for the touchdown. Tyler Toney, the quarterback, on a 12-yard scamper, will now bring our new score to 32-13. And Boyd's got some thinking to do on Monday or Sunday when they watch the film. Whenever the film session is, they're going to have to look, and they'll probably look at missed tackles and missed opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a mirror image of McKinney North prior to last year. You know, I mean, they were an offensive firepower team, but the defense wasn't always where it needed to be. And even last year, there were some lapses where there wasn't a complete concentration.
Miller on for the extra point, and it is on the tee. It's up. That's the best kick we've seen tonight, and it's true. 33-13, Prosper in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker, Brandon Helms, and John Leidy. 33-13, Prosper in the lead. McKinney Boyd's first ever game. And it's not going real well for the McKinney Boyd Broncos, but they have put up a tough fight, especially for a bunch of underclassmen. And Miller's kick is going to be, for the first time, up in the air. It's going to roll out of bounds, so that'll be a penalty on Prosper. 3:46 left to go in this game, and, you know, it's one of those where, like we mentioned earlier, when you watch the film, you're going to be looking at things to improve on, and I think
there's a lot.
I think that you know, Boyd's got quite a bit to work on, but you know what? They're a brand new team, a brand new program. These guys have had 4 weeks to work together, and I think what they're doing right now is pretty impressive for a team that's never played together except for the past 4 weeks.
Well, they've shown flashes, and that's what makes a good team is they put flashes together in long streaks and not what we've seen here from Boyd. But you go back to it, again, new program, not a single senior. For probably even half the starters, and I would even venture to say we're looking at 80% of the starters, this is their first varsity game ever. I mean, so this is to be expected. But they've still shown signs, and you got to at least like that.
Yeah, they've
I mean, they put 14 points on the board, or 13, I guess, against a good defense.
Miller's second attempt at the kickoff is going to be Squibber. It's going to be taken by Fuller at the 20. Makes his way up to the 25.
Good block, Jones.
Bounces off one defender at the 30, up to the 35, near sideline, and runs out of bounds just shy of midfield at the 45-yard line. A nice return by Jeff Fuller.
And again, you know, we look at those flashes. You know, one of the best things that have impressed me? A.J. Jones is blocking. He was able to spring out Fuller there because the streak was coming and Jones laid him out. He has done that very well today, and that's one thing you got to like if your halfback can block.
They're going to spot the ball at the 45-yard line. So 55 yards to go for McKinney Boyd right here before the end of the game. 3:35 left, and you'd like to see him end on a positive note and stick this one in the end zone. As Phillip Sears comes back out on the field, A.J. Jones stands behind him. Jeff Fuller, the wideout, the big 6'5 wideout to the near side, is split wide. And Sears wants to throw, looks over to the other side, throws it down the field, and it is almost intercepted by Fuller Bates, who also plays safety out there. Sears was trying to hit Robert Sparks, the big, tall junior tight end who also rolls out in that flanker spot. But he overthrew him, and Bates almost picked it off.
Well, let me tell you why that was a bad pass. There was a rush coming, and Sears saw it. And so what happens is when he threw the ball, instead of following through, he already ducked into a defensive position. And anytime you don't follow through on your pass, bad things are going to happen. As we saw there, he overthrew it and almost was an interception.
Same formation here. Sears stands at his 40. He's going to hand off to Jones right up the middle, and he's going to have the midfield stripe. And I think that's where they're going to spot him, right there at the 50-yard line. So a gain of 5. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. And you'd like to see McKinney Boyd get some positives out of this football game here late. You know, their last drive was very impressive. 10 plays, 75 yards, and took about 4.5 minutes off the clock. They have under 3 minutes here, and they're at midfield. 3rd play of the drive, 3rd and 5. Man goes in motion. That's Eubanks, and they're going to fake the hand to him. Sears looks over. Now flushed out. He's in trouble behind the line of scrimmage and is sacked. All right, at the original line of scrimmage at the 45-yard line. A 5-yard loss will bring up 4th down.
Taylor Thompson with the sack for the Prosper Eagles. And there was just a rush coming from the outside. Not a lot Sears could do because it was coming from both ends and there wasn't a hole in the middle, and that's a tough hole. He almost was able to break it, but because there were 2 there, one of them missed, but Thompson was able to bring him down.
Miller Burns back to punt. Will stand at his own 33-yard line. 4th down and 10. 2:10 left to go in the game. The line of scrimmage is the 45, and now the officials will call a timeout.
Prosper.
And we'll take one, too. 2:08 left to go in the game. 33-13, Prosper on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Miller Burns' punt goes off the side of his foot. It's probably a good thing because Fuller Bates was waiting on it. Now it's going to take a bounce towards that near hash, and it's going to die at the 27-yard line, and Fuller Bates doesn't get a chance to return it, and that's probably a good thing for McKinney Boyd.
Yeah.
Only a minute 58 left in the game. Boyd down by 20, 33-13.
Might be a good scenario for the Prosper Eagles just to try to run out the clock, and I think they were trying to do that last drive before Bates was able to break that long one.
Well, the ball will be spotted. Well, they're still kind of wrestling with where to put the ball. I guess there was an infraction on the play. No, it was at the 27 is where it was touched dead, and there must have been an infraction on the play. John, did you get a chance to look at that?
Yes, I did. There was a little extracurricular activities. There was a personal foul on the McKinney Boyd Broncos
Dang,
for a late hit after the whistle.
That's their first penalty, Monty.
All right. Thanks a lot, John.
First recorded penalty. They've had 2 other penalties that were waived off.
Well, instead of starting at their own 27, they will start at their own 42, they being Prosper. And you hate to see that. Maybe tempers flaring, the first ever game, a lot of emotion.
Less than 2 minutes in the game.
Yeah.
They could have got their first game without a penalty.
Lots of new players into the game, although Tyler Toney, still in at quarterback, goes under center, and he's going to hand off to a new fullback who has a same old big hole, crosses the 50 out to the 46-yard line. Ryan Maddox, the new fullback into the game, is going to pick up a first down on first down with the 11-yard run.
Same mold as Drew Griffin, who's able to get 69 yards on 12 carries today. And that's why, they're big bruisers, and, outside of a couple of big guys on the McKinney Boyd defensive line, this isn't a very big defense.
Split out wide right, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left for Prosper. Toss right. This is going to be Monroe trying to find left tackle, and he is quick and dragged down at the 41-yard line. Gain of 7. And a nice play over on that left corner. Weston Eubanks comes up and makes the stop.
We also got a new quarterback into the game on that play for the Eagles. It was sophomore Hunter Nix, and he was out lead blocking there as well.
It'll be 2nd down and 4 after the 6-yard gain, we'll call it. And under a minute now, and this one's just about over. John Leidy is going to try to talk to Coach Drake after the game. Also try to talk with maybe A.J. Jones. As we're now approaching 40 seconds. I formation. This is going to be a toss left side. Monroe gets the carry, trying to find the corner and can't do it. Drug down at the 40-yard line. A gain of 1. Had a lot of real estate to gain just 1 yard.
Likely to be the last play because he was tackled in bounds. And now the game clock is less than the 25-second play clock. So we'll see if that's the case.
So yeah, 16 seconds.
And they're walking
the game
off.
Clock.
So that's it.
That's it. The first game ever in McKinney Boyd history is in the books. No longer a blank page in the record books for McKinney Boyd. There now is a 33-13 loss on the very first page. It has been an experience these kids will never forget. Even though the outcome is not in their favor, they will never forget this first ever game. And, there's going to come a day where McKinney Boyd when McKinney Boyd is known as a powerhouse champion. That day will happen. Highland Park started somewhere. McKinney started somewhere.
Yeah, but it's easier to start in the early 1900s than it is nowadays.
But there will be a day where McKinney Boyd is a powerhouse champion, and they'll all look back at their very first game and wonder how long or realize how far they've come. And tonight is that first game, and there's a lot yet to be done for McKinney Boyd.
Oh, sure. But you saw, like I said, you saw some sparks of some good things. You definitely liked what you had out of A.J. Jones. He looked very good on offense in a lot of situations, but there's a lot of things he's not going to get credit for that he looked good in, like the blocking that I mentioned so often.
You know, another guy we might want to talk to is Lamar Peoples.
Yeah.
Peoples had a great game at the cornerback position. I believe he recovered a fumble.
Yep.
And we'll try to talk to Peoples and A.J. Jones and also Don Drake. Right now, Coach Drake is talking to his players and will probably talk to them for quite a bit. And maybe John Leidy can stick his microphone in there a little bit and we can hear what's going on down on the sideline. It's kind of hard to hear down there, but John Leidy telling them not to put, or Coach Drake telling them, Coach Drake telling them not to keep their head, not to put their heads down or keep their heads down. That one game does not make a football team. One loss does not represent the entire season.
You play hard the entire time. That's my expectation, regardless of the score. Every week, that's what we will do. We're going to get up right now. We're going to go over the band and a song, and then you guys will take it in. Everybody got it?
Yes, sir.
Everybody will go over this. Okay?
All right, Coach Drake telling his team what to do after a varsity football game. A lot of these kids have never been a part of a varsity football game, telling them where they need to line up, which is expected. John Leidy did a great job there. Now I believe that the Boyd Broncos are going to go over to the band and, do the school song, which I hope they have all memorized by now. Remember, we are 4 weeks into this new school. And you wouldn't have to hold it against these kids if they didn't yet know the school song, I don't think. John Leidy, you're down on the field. Talk to us a little bit about your interpretation of this game. How do you feel that this game has gone? And John may be down in that tent with the Eagle mascot. I'm not sure. He can't hear us.
Oh, it's moving. Who knows?
The emotions were running high down here after the game. There was a lot of heartfelt moments as they were walking off the field here. We'll get back with you with interviews back in a couple minutes.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Talk about, are there tears shed down there? A lot of these players have never been a part of a varsity game.
There were some tears shed down here. And like you said, a lot of people have not been a part of the varsity game. And this is not the way they wanted to come out their very first varsity game, and the ending happened.
And it'll be interesting to see how A.J. Jones reacts. And maybe they'll tell us, what their emotions are. And I think we're standing right with you now is Peoples, but right now is Coach Don Drake. Take it over.
Yes, I'm here with McKinney Boyd head coach Don Drake. Coach, how did you feel about tonight's first game for the McKinney Boyd Broncos?
Well, it's obviously disappointing. I mean, we had hopes of coming out with a victory. As a competitor, and these guys are competitors, that's what you're playing for. So obviously we're disappointed in the fact that we didn't come out on top, okay? But we're a young team. We're learning lessons every time we snap the football, whether on offense or defense. And we're going to focus on getting better and getting ready for Denton next week.
And how did you feel about A.J. Jones' performance at running back tonight?
I thought he played pretty well. Again, I mean, guys, it's not just one person. I mean, it takes a whole team doing things right and executing properly. And so we're going to get better every day and every week. And so,
is there one thing that you'd like to key on to work on in practice this next week?
Oh, I think we got a lot of things we got to work on. It's not just one area of focus in any way.
Okay, well, thank you, Coach, and good luck next week. Thank you. I'm also here with number 2 cornerback for the McKinney Boyd Broncos, number 2, Lamar Peoples. How did you feel about tonight's game?
We played pretty hard. We got a lot of hard work to do. We just got to get better for the next game against Denton.
There is a lot of youth on the defense, and you're one of them. You're a sophomore. You're one of 4 people on the defensive backs. Can you tell us how that has played out through tonight's game?
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of guys, we had our first varsity start tonight. But it's really all about playing hard and being meaner and playing tougher, and that's our Bronco way, and that's what we try and do each and every game. We just got to get better.
Well, thank you and good luck next week. I also have to throw this in on Lamar's behalf. He's a product of one of the McKinney's newest middle schools, Evans Middle School.
All right.
We were unable to get an interview with A.J. Jones, running back. He had to get off the field to do with personal business.
All right.
Thank you. We're going to send it back up to y'all, and y'all have a great day.
All right. Thanks a lot, John Lighty. John did a great job down on the sidelines tonight. Lamar Peoples, first of all, I want to get with the Don Drake interview. And there's something very different about Don Drake than the other two coaches that I have noticed. Don Drake, during his post-game interview, is the only one of the three, and I'm talking about Sean Pratt and Todd McVeigh. He's the only one of the three that can actually talk after the end of the game. He didn't have a sore throat. And, especially Coach Todd McVeigh, who can hardly even barely – you think he had a hole in his throat after the game because he screamed so hard during the game. But, Don Drake's just a different type of guy. He's a calm, cool, collective guy who's not going to raise his voice. And you can tell by the post-game interview. In a game that's – they lost 33-13, you'd think is one that most head coaches would be screaming and yelling all night long. Coach Don Drake just not that type of guy.
No, not at all. And sometimes the silent leaders are the better ones because, you can lead by fear, and you always know that. But when you're silent in this strong and steady type of coach, which I think Drake's going to be, that can a lot of times inspire more motivation and more loyalty just by that than having somebody who screams all the time.
Well, a lot of screaming going on here tonight, but most of it by the Prosper Eagles fans. 33-13, Prosper takes the win tonight, and we'll head over to their Collin County seat. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.